Division at the Ministry of Justice. That's the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference during Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesday, February 7 at the Summit. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning to you. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, February 7, 2024. We are alive and well, and for that we give God thanks. It's Wednesday, it's hump day. We're at the middle of the work week, and we're gonna push through and make it through to the end. Friday is near, my friends. Good morning to you if you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9. Thank you so much for joining us on your radio. Those in the car, those at home, those in the shop, those in their business place. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're listening and watching from our YouTube channel, remember we are on our backup page, Nationwide 90 FM Live. Good morning to all of you over there. Remember, if you found the page and you have not yet subscribed, please do so that when we go live on this page, you can be notified and you don't have to be searching down the entire YouTube to find us. Errol Townsend, good morning to you. Marvelous Marvin, what's up? Venice Keating, first time seeing that name. Welcome, Venice. I hope to see you more often. Arlene Rowe, good morning to you. Lornette Powell, Angelou, good morning to you as well. Herman Hyatt, Herman, oh, you named this a far down this morning. Normally, like you're at the top, Herman. What's up? You're a little late this morning, Herman. Good morning to you, Clash Camp, and all the others over there on our YouTube channel. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on that platform. We appreciate the community over there. Good. Oh, Herman is saying she can never find it, and you subscribe. Herman, remember the notification bell. Click the notification bell, Herman, so that you can be notified, so it can pop up on your phone, Herman. Remember that. All right. And those of you over there on our mobile app, which is available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, good morning to you. And those on our website, the Listen Now option there, good morning to you as well. People, we are outside again. We're outside and we're now going. We are at the Summit in New Kingston, formerly the Knutsford Court Hotel, and we're here for the Ministry of Justice's Restorative Justice Conference. And of course, later on at 10 o'clock, when Cliff joins us, you will hear much more about that. But in the meantime, inside the Consumer Hour this morning, it's Ask the Consul.
It's never happened on Jamaican radio, but Nationwide is bringing you another radio revolution. Ask the Consul.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
All right. And inside Ask the Consul this morning, we will be joined by non-immigration visa chief David Johnson. And of course, inside this program, it's all things U.S. visa related, non-immigration issues, visa renewals, obtaining a U.S. visa, and so forth. Usually at the beginning of the program, we get an update from the rep from the U.S. consulate. And this morning, it's David Johnson. Good morning, David. How are you?
Good morning, Nora. Thanks for having me back. It's good to talk with you again.
Nice to have you again. How are you enjoying Jamaica?
Very much. I think the last time we spoke, you just started playing Christmas music for the season. So it's so now that we've come to the other end of that, we can bookend the holidays and speak to each other again. But hope you had a nice holiday.
Well, Happy New Year. It's the first time I'm speaking to you for the New Year. So
yes,
Happy New Year. It's not too late. All right. So what are the updates that you have for us this morning?
Sure. Well, as you rightly noted, I think most of your audience is most interested in the visa-related issues and visa questions, and so we'll certainly be happy to field those later on in the hour. But the U.S. Embassy is also obviously interested in serving the U.S. citizens who are here in Jamaica, which
Right.
there are many. A lot of U.S. citizen residents. Those of voting age are probably keenly aware already that we're in an election year in the United States, and that U.S. citizens can vote from wherever they are. And so the starting point for voting from overseas is the Federal Voting Assistance Program, which is at fvap.gov. And that'll have all the information that you need to prepare for not only the general election in November, on November 5th, but also for the many primary elections that are happening now. For instance, the Florida primary is coming up March 19th for president, and then later in August for other elections. The New York primary is April 2nd for president, and in June for other elections. But the starting point for wherever you're voting, whatever state you're a registered voter in, is fvap.gov, and that will provide you the information you need to register and to actually cast your vote from overseas.
All right. So that's fvap.com. FVAP.com.
FVAP as in Federal Voting Assistance Program. That's right. FVAP.gov.gov.
All right.
All right. And then beyond that, I wanted to sort of highlight a new way that we're communicating here at the embassy. Previously on your program, we've always given out our email addresses as Kingston IV for immigrant visas and Kingston NIV for non-immigrant visas. Those still work, but in most cases, you're going to get an automatic reply directing you to use what's called our new Visa Navigator platform. You can also get to that right from our website at jm.usembassy.gov. But what the Navigator is doing is sort of streamlining and directing your specific inquiries to the right people to answer the question faster and with the most accurate information. So, for instance, if you go to jm.usembassy.gov and follow the link for I need a U.S. visa, you click that, it'll take you to a Visa Navigator. And then it's going to give you a menu of what can we help you with, whether it be non-immigrant visas, immigrant visas, green cards, U.S. citizen services. So you make that selection, and it's going to direct you to another menu to sort of narrow down your focus. And then at the end of that, once you've gotten to exactly what the problem is, it's going to give you a subject code that you'll still email the same address you've always been emailing. For example, Kingston NIV at state.gov. But now you'll have a code that you can put in the subject to make sure it's getting right to the exact right staff person who can answer your question more quickly than you might have gotten in the past.
Okay. So that's the new system there. I hope
that's right. Yeah, and people can still use the old system. Like I say, in the past we've always said for non-immigrant visas, email KingstonNIV at state.gov, and you can still do that. That's just going to provide you a link directly to what I'm referring to now, to this navigator, to help you direct your inquiry more specifically. And that's right on our website, too.
All right. So for those of you who may need some information, you're not sure. A lot of persons, people take it for granted that people will know how to, apply for a visa, renew their visa. But some people really don't know the first place to go to. So if you are in that category, you've heard it from David, and I hope you follow those instructions. And the website is pretty user-friendly. I've had a reason to be on it, and it's good. So, and it will lead you to exactly where you need to be, and of course with the updates it will help you even further. So are those all the updates, David, before we jump into anything else?
Well, Nora, you actually raised a really good point, too, about how complicated it can seem, how intimidating it can seem to communicate with the embassy for someone who's applying for the first time, for someone who's not very tech savvy. We understand that it's a complicated process, and many Jamaicans use travel agents to work with us, whether it be for an immigrant or non-immigrant visa. We want to implore everyone to make sure that the travel agent you're working with is legitimate. As I say that because our fraud prevention unit here at the embassy has been detecting and, in fact, prosecuting many bad faith travel agents and their clients for providing misinformation and for misrepresenting their application to the embassy. So make sure that you're using someone that you know, that you trust, an established travel agent business. If you decide to go with a travel agent, make sure that the agent you're using is acting in good faith and is not encouraging you to misrepresent things in your application, because that can reflect badly not just on your application itself, but also can have legal ramifications here in Jamaica.
All right, and remember, it's your information. you know it best. So if you can apply yourself, do it. Some people they feel more comfortable going through an agency, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just ensure that the agency is legitimate, as David is saying. And if you can do it yourself, it's the process is very simple. But if you can do it yourself, do it. But if you choose to go through an agency, ensure that it is a legitimate agency and one that you can trust. All right. So those are the initial updates there from David. He is a non-immigration visa chief at the U.S. Embassy here in Jamaica. At this point in the program, we are going to open the lines. We're going to go to a break, but before we go to the break, just to let you know that if you have any visa-related questions, anything related to obtaining a U.S. visa, visa renewal, non-immigration questions, and other questions in general, please feel free to give us a call. The numbers to call 876-630-9371-4 or 618-8255. And of course, if you are unable to give us a call, the YouTube chat is open. Remember, we're live on YouTube, Nationwide 90 FM Live. That's our backup page. That's where we are this morning. If you are unable to find the channel, in the YouTube search bar, just put Nationwide 90 FM Live, no space, no capital letters, and the channel should come up. That has worked for me, and I hope it will work for you. And you can ask your question in the YouTube chat if you're unable to give us a call. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, it's more Ask the Consul.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
In a world where scams lurk around every corner, NCB is working tirelessly to protect you. Beware of red flags such as scare tactics, too good to be true offers, and fake transaction alerts. Remember, NCB will never send links through texts, WhatsApps, or emails, and NCB will never contact you to ask for your PIN, password, RSA token, or credit card number. Don't be quick to click or share your information. Don't fall for fraud. Visit jncb.com/protect yourself.
The Minister of Justice will host the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference at the Summit in New Kingston. This amazing conference will be hosted on Wednesday, February 7, starting at 10 a.m. Join Nationwide 90 FM during Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will bring you interviews from the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, and the Minister of Education and Youth, Fable Williams. Tune in and listen to the impact and the work of the restorative branch of the Social Justice Division at the Ministry of Justice. That's the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference during Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesday, February 7 at the Summit, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I am Nora Gay Banton. It's Ask the Consul this morning, and we are joined by non-immigration visa chief David Johnson. He is non-immigration visa chief at the U.S. Embassy here in Jamaica, and he gave us some updates earlier, and we're now at the point in the program where we take your calls, your questions, your queries. The numbers to call, 876-630-9371 or 618-8255. Once again, 876-630-9371 That's 9371, 9372, 9373, and 9374. Or you can call 618-8255. If you're unable to call any of those numbers, you can leave your questions in the YouTube chat, and we will try our best to get to it. The channel we're on this morning is Nationwide 90 FM Live or a backup page. Now, David, we have a program on. David, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. We have a program on Mondays where we have a U.S. immigration attorney and a Canadian immigration consultant, basically an immigration program. And a question came up regarding filing for siblings. And the point was raised, as it usually is, that it's a category that takes quite a long time. There are I think the wait is about 13, 14 years or so forth. Can you say exactly why this category takes that long?
Sure. The family preference categories are ordered in the way they are by our immigration laws and by the Immigration and Nationality Act, mostly to reflect the immediacy of family. So that's why the children and spouses of U.S. citizens are, usually the first priority in what we're adjudicating here. But for spouses of green card holders, children of green card holders, minor children, it's all really just a matter of reflecting the intent of the visa is for family unification. So bringing a sibling to the U.S., it's certainly, our siblings are near and dear to us, and that's why there is a legal path for immigration for siblings of U.S. citizens. But it is, understandably, I think, a lower priority than uniting parents and children or spouses. And so that's why there is, unfortunately, a very long wait, but it's that wait is by design, and it allows us to prioritize those the nearer family relations.
I see. So it's for those of you who always ask. I hope you heard that response from David. It's based on family relation and the closer you are. Well, some people may argue that, but as it relates to your connection, mother and child, father and child, spouse, the closer you are, then the quicker you are able to file for your relatives. But that's the reason given by the U.S. Embassy. Stephen Dixon on YouTube says, David, good morning. If someone was refused a visa renewal because he or she was arrested in the U.S. For marijuana, what are the chances of that person re-entering the U.S. And getting married to a U.S. citizen?
Sure. That's a good question, Stephen, and thank you for bringing that up. We do see a lot of these ineligibilities for drug use as well as for crimes involving moral turpitude. These are all permanent ineligibilities, and so for a non-immigrant visa, the only way to overcome a permanent ineligibility like that is to present it depends. Waivers are often available for these ineligibilities, but only in the rare circumstances where enough time has passed, a person's life circumstances have changed so considerably, there's been no further interaction with the law, and so on. And a waiver is no guarantee, of course. That's something that a consular officer may choose to recommend, and then the Department of Homeland Security has the discretion to approve or deny that request for a waiver. For immigrant visas, if someone has a prior ineligibility for drug use, for example, and they're now applying for an immigrant visa, the waiver process actually starts with them. So they apply for the waiver themselves, and then that's going to be approved or denied by Homeland Security and by USCIS directly, sort of outside of the consular officer's decision. The consular officer will find you ineligible for that section of the law, and then it's incumbent upon the applicant themselves to seek the waiver for it for immigrant visas. So it's a non-immigrant, the consular officer has the discretion to recommend a waiver or not, depending on the change in circumstances. But for immigrant visas, the applicant themselves are the ones who are seeking a waiver, and it's still at the discretion of Homeland Security.
Okay. All right, Stephen, I hope that helps you with your question regarding visa renewal. There is a question coming from your comment on the agencies going through a travel agency to apply or renew your visa. Someone is asking if there is a register or an approved list of travel agencies that are recognized by the embassy as legitimate.
That's a good question. We don't maintain a list of approved or recommended vendors. We tend to stay out of that, the business of recommending one vendor over another. But in general, our recommendation is don't pay more to try to go through a back door. Our visa fees are what they are. To apply for a B1, B2 visa is $185 US. If someone's charging you a lot more than that and encouraging you to put on information there or inflate information about your employment, about your education, that is someone who's acting in bad faith and someone who's trying to get you through a back door. If someone is advertising that they have special access to the embassy or a special connection or a special way through the non-immigrant visa process, that is not true. There is not a special path through. So your travel agent can help you fill out a form, but it is your information that you're representing in there. And so representing that information correctly is essential to making sure that you can avoid the kind of ineligibilities and the kind of legal problems that come from lying to an immigration officer or lying to law enforcement. So people have to use their own judgment in the travel agents they use. A lot of this comes from word of mouth. A lot of it comes from advertisements on Instagram or wherever, or the building that you drive past that has a travel agency sign on it. But they need to earn your trust because they're the ones who are presenting your information for what you're bringing to a consular officer. And it's essential that information be correct, that you answer all the questions truthfully, whether it be about prior refusals, prior arrests. These are things that we can and do find out, and so having the true information presented from the outset benefits you in the long run.
All right. We have some callers on the line, David. We're going to go to them now. Junior, good morning.
Hi, morning, Nora.
Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to Mr. John. So you have the name of my cousin.
Oh, very good. Well, good morning to you. Thanks for calling in.
All right, no problem. All right, I have a friend of mine who he visited the States from time to time. And during the pandemic, he wasn't able to come back at the time scheduled for his flight based on the closing of the airport. And, persons couldn't travel because of the whole pandemic situation. Now, when he came back and going up back at some other time, when he went to the airport, they told him that he needs to get in touch with the embassy because apparently the visa was canceled. So he went to the immigration attorney for some assistance who, took up the matter and tried to have it resolved. But after all of that, when he attempted to travel again, he was given a letter indicating that it's from the embassy saying that the visa is okay, it is reinstated, or it is still valid, not reinstated, but still valid and so on. So he tried to travel again. The same thing occurred, that he wasn't able to travel. The airport agent told him to check back with the embassy and stuff. So I don't know what that's about.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like a complicated situation, and we do see a lot of instances where people traveled for legitimate purposes during the pandemic and were caught out. For those who stayed more than 6 months beyond the date they were admitted until, they will have an inadmissibility that needs to be resolved. If they stayed for more than a year, there's a more serious kind of inadmissibility. For those that overstayed their admitted date by by 1 day to 6 months, that's sort of a gray area, but their visa may have been revoked. Whenever you're contacted and told that your visa is no longer valid for travel, or whenever you try to travel and are turned away by the airport or the airline, your first step should be contacting the embassy, because if your visa has been revoked, you're going to need to reapply and figure out exactly what it is that led to the revocation, what kind of inadmissibility you're facing. Now, there are situations that are easily explained and well explained. Someone can come back and truthfully tell us what happened during the pandemic, how they spent their time there, how they came back at the earliest convenience, and so on. And there are plenty of credible stories like that, but it needs to be presented to a consular officer, and a consular officer needs to be satisfied that the individual still qualifies for the visa in order to be issued a new one. As for the specifics of your friend's circumstance, if he was told that by the embassy that his visa is still valid for travel, and then he went and faced the same issue again, I suggest following up with the embassy again just to share the specifics of that so we can sort it out. And he would likely need to reapply for a new visa if they're telling him it's not valid.
Right, because the thing is that when he attempted to, the thing is that he went through an immigration lawyer for assistance, and the lawyer presented that document to him for traveling, and then the same thing occurred again. So I figured more or less the best he had maybe just reapply straight to the embassy.
Yeah, with due respect to the attorney wouldn't have any authority to present a letter authorizing him to use a no longer valid visa. So his first call should have been to the embassy rather than to an attorney. Once you're told that your visa is canceled, the only person who can resolve that is a consular officer here at the embassy.
Yeah, but that document that he got from the attorney came through the embassy. It indicated from the embassy. So I don't understand.
All right. That's an unusual course of events, so I can't speak any more to the specifics of that. Okay. But I would recommend that that your friend work directly with the embassy.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Carl.
Good.
All right. We have another caller on the line, Romay. Good morning, Romay.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll keep it pretty quick. I have a few questions. My spouse is an American citizen. His son was born here in Jamaica. He's 2 years old. I would like to know the best course of action to get him citizenship. I was advised to do like a consular birth abroad. I'm not sure if that's the best route. I would love your recommendation on going about that.
Sure. Yeah, it's not only the best route; it's probably the only route. If your child is born to a U.S. citizen who has the requisite amount of time spent in the United States, then he would have acquired citizenship at birth, and so he wouldn't qualify for any kind of visa. He's going to need to get his passport, his U.S. passport, in order to travel to the U.S. The best way to do that is through our American Citizen Services unit, and they are readily accessible at Kingston ACS at state.gov. That's the one email address that's still public facing for U.S. citizens, and they're going to give you the directions on how to apply for the CRBA, the Consular Report of Birth Abroad, and usually people will apply for that and the passport at the same time.
Okay, just for conversation purposes, would you mind giving me just a rundown or a brief synopsis of what documents will be required? So he hasn't worked in the U.S. before. He has been living here for quite a while. He was living there for some time. He just hasn't started to work in the U.S. at all. Are there any taxation documents that he would need to provide, or what?
Sure. Yeah. He'll need, so obviously the child's birth papers to present his relation. Yes.
Yeah. Before you jump into what's required, can we just jump to a break? When we come back from the break, Romay, we can get that answer for you.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is...
It's 9:30.
Get connected to a deal you'll love this Valentine's with Flow. Sign up for Flow Yard and Road for the extra special price of only $3,999 plus GCT and get a free Samsung phone. Make a love connection and show how much you care. Visit discoverflow.co or Flow Store today. Conditions apply.
On Monday, February 26, 2024, the country will go to the polls to vote in the local government elections. The battle between the two main political parties, plus ambitious smaller parties, and a clutch of independents will be pitched in 228 divisions across the island. Andrew Holness and the JLP say they've done enough to be given a new term in charge of local governments. But Mark Golding and the PNP say time come to send the Labourites packing. What will influence your decision? Who'll get your vote? Nobody in Jamaica covers politics better than Nationwide 90 FM, and your revolution in media will be at it again for the local polls. It's the Labourites versus the Comrades, February 26 with Sadie Abering.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
Good morning. You're back inside the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. It's Ask the Consul this morning, and we're joined by Non-Immigration Visa Chief at the U.S. Embassy here in Jamaica, David Johnson. We are at the point in the program where we're answering your questions, your queries, concerns on our YouTube platform, as well as from calls. We have Romay on the line, and David, you were just about to answer Romay's question. Go right ahead.
Sure. You were asking about applying for a consular report of birth abroad and passport for your child whose father is a U.S. citizen. For that, you need father's citizenship documentation, obviously, the relationship documentation, so the birth certificate with the father listed on there, and then documents showing that the father has the required physical presence in the U.S. to transmit citizenship. It's in general 5 years of presence, with 2 years of those being after the age of 14, I believe it is. I don't work in that unit, so I'm just going from memory here. So it's the way people usually show that is through school documentation or pay stubs that show they were working in the U.S. for this period of time. registration documents for organizations they're in, how they paid rent while they're there. Really anything just demonstrating that the father was in the U.S. for at least 5 years, with 2 of those years being in his adulthood, and that he was a citizen at the time of the child's birth too. And then you can present those at an appointment here at the embassy. To schedule that would be through Kingston ACS at state.gov. I also mentioned earlier in the program that we're using something called our Navigator for most communications now. We also use that for ACS as well. If you go to our website at jm.usembassy.gov and then follow the links for I need U.S. citizen services, it's going to route you to the information that you need on the consular report of birth abroad.
Okay, thank you so much. And lastly,
you're very welcome.
I am not exactly sure if I saw it, but after you made the payment for applying for the CRBA, do you have to do an appointment? Is it still like you have to come in, or you just submit your documents and then you await some confirmation or something?
You do need to come in, at least for the passport application. The child would need to be physically present here for that. The father can give his consent for the application through a form called the DS 3053, I believe it is. That's the consent for a parent, from elsewhere, and so that needs to be signed and notarized. And you need to have that at the appointment as well.
Okay, all right.
But
Thank you so much.
If he's here, that's all the better. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, Dawn. All the best to you. Hope you were helped with those responses. Dawn, good morning.
Hi, Nora. Good morning. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
I'm having an issue here. I'm being filed for, and I got to the point where I received a date for an appointment. Unfortunately, I had to cancel the appointment. Now I'm has been trying for several months now to reschedule an appointment. I've written by email to the email address that appears on the system. Of course, I got a response. And the response had a link that they say would take me to a place where the appointment can be rescheduled. I've been trying since last November to do this. I've gotten several error messages. One where you do not have permission to access this account. Another one shows user account plus my name and email address. And another one saying doing maintenance. Right now, I'm really, really frustrated. I've written several times, as I said earlier, and the response is usually with a link. But the link takes me actually nowhere. I cannot reschedule the appointment. What should I do in this case?
Sure. I'm really sorry to hear about the frustrating experience you're having. It sounds like you were directed maybe to our Visa Navigator, or was it to the actual appointment scheduling website where you're getting this error?
It's the rescheduling area or site, right?
Yeah. So, truthfully, there's been an issue with the website where there are some technical problems happening at posts in Canada that are affecting the website here too. So I'm always having to refresh that page myself. I'm on there daily, and I have frequent issues with that. It's something that the technical team there is aware of, and they're trying to work on. But you've been doing this for months, so it's clearly more than just a simple issue of refreshing or restarting. I know you've tried to reach out by email. So I would encourage you to go through the Navigator process and try to narrow it down to. It's going to give you like a code to put in the subject line of the email that will route it to a specific, more specific topic area. Because the way that the communication is going now is that based on whatever code is in the subject line, it goes into a folder, and if it doesn't go into one of those folders, it may get missed. So I want to make sure that yours doesn't get missed. What we could possibly do is take your information offline, off the air, and I can have someone follow up with you directly about this. Because I want to make sure this doesn't keep happening for you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's a possibility of gathering that information offline and then sharing that so we can follow up directly.
Sure. So she can stay on the line and give the producer her information, and we'll definitely try to get to that, get it to you.
I'd really appreciate that. Thanks.
Sure. I apologize for the frustration. I know the Navigator is a new system, and if it's not working, we want to know in what way it's not working so we can improve upon it and make it, be efficient in the future for us. So let's connect with you and try to fix that.
Okay, thank you much.
All right, sure. Dawn, all the best to you. I hope everything works out for you. David, all right, stay on the line and give the producer your information, okay? All right. David, a question here about work permits, work visas. So there's an employer in the United States who wants you to come and work for them. How do you go about applying for your work permit to get to that job?
Sure. So our temporary work visas for agricultural and non-agricultural workers are petition-based. And so U.S.-based companies needs to file a petition with USCIS and with a Department of Labor certification to request a worker from overseas. Basically, it's a certification that shows that they can't find the labor that they need in the U.S., and so they want to open up the opportunity to workers from abroad. Jamaican workers fill a huge need in the U.S. We get about 17,000 H-2A and H-2B workers combined in the past year, and so it's essential to our workforce. But it starts with a petition process from the U.S., and then workers here in Jamaica work with local recruiters or directly with the Ministry of Labor to apply for those jobs and to then apply for the visa. We're processing those applications steadily. We turn them around very quickly once they get to us, but it doesn't get to the embassy really until that petition process is already at its final stages. The petition's approved. The ministry or the recruitment agency here has identified the workers that they intend to send, and then those workers come to the embassy for an appointment, or in most cases actually don't even need to come for an appointment unless there's an interview required for some other reason. Most of these are done with interview waivers. But it starts with the U.S. employer filing a petition, and then you'll work with local recruiters, and all of those are certified. There's a list maintained by the ministry for approved H-2B recruitment agencies, and then the ministry itself does its H-2A recruitment directly.
Okay, all right. So that's that process there. There's someone in our YouTube chat who was asking about the waiver process. They caught the tail end of the conversation there with that caller. The person is asking, what's the average processing time for a non-immigrant waiver?
So I think they're referring to if someone has an ineligibility for criminal history or for any other permanent ineligibility,
right.
What the timeline for seeking a waiver. Now, these waivers are few and far between. We, the waiver is only recommended by a consular officer in certain circumstances, and then it still is subject to the approval of USCIS. But in general, it's a process of months. I'd say anywhere from 4 to 8 months would be about the average of my estimate. There are cases that require an expedite. So for a certain urgent family or medical travel, we can request expedited processing. Still, approval or denial is at the discretion of USCIS, but they'll make the decision more quickly in those circumstances, and that can be a matter of days or weeks.
Okay, all right. A question here regarding visa renewal. News commentator J.A. says if an adult is renewing their U.S. visa and is also applying at the same time for 2 children, can that be done all online?
Yes, so they are eligible for a waiver of interview. For someone who's renewing a tourist visa within 48 months of its expiration, they're eligible for renewal without an interview. And children under the age of 14 are likewise always eligible for that. Now, once the application comes to us, it's still at a consular officer's discretion whether they may require an interview or not, just to assess someone's total qualifications and their intent to travel, things like that. And so there are circumstances where someone who does meet the technical qualifications for an interview waiver may still be called in for an interview. But generally speaking, yes, an adult renewal with 2 children under the age of 14 would be qualified to submit their application without an interview.
All right. Remember the numbers to call, 876-630-9371-4. If you have any U.S. visa-related questions, visa renewal, obtaining a visa, non-immigration questions, we have non-immigration visa chief at the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica, David Johnson, on the line with us, and he's answering all your questions as much as he can. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. And if you're unable to call, we also have the YouTube live chat option. So you can leave your question there, and we try our best to get to all the questions for you as soon as we see them. We are going to take a break now. We are here at the summit. We're here for the Ministry of Justice Restorative Justice Conference. Of course, later on during Cliff Hughes Online, you'll hear much more about that. But we're going to take a break now. When we come back, it's more Ask the Consul.
Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is...
It's 9:44.
In a world where scams lurk around every corner, NCB is working tirelessly to protect you. Beware of red flags such as scare tactics, too good to be true offers, and fake transaction alerts. Remember, NCB will never send links through texts, WhatsApps, or emails, and NCB will never contact you to ask for your PIN, password, RSA token, or credit card number. Don't be quick to click or share your information. Don't fall for fraud. Visit jncb.com/protect yourself.
Get connected to a deal you'll love this Valentine's with Flow. Sign up for Flow Yard and Road for the extra special price of only $3,999 plus GCT and get a free Samsung phone. Make a love connection and show how much you care. Visit discoverflow.co or Flow Store today. Conditions apply.
The Minister of Justice will host the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference at the Summit in New Kingston. This amazing conference will be hosted on Wednesday, February 7th, starting at 10 a.m. Join Nationwide 90 FM during Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will bring you interviews from the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, and the Minister of Education and Youth, Fable Williams. Tune in and listen to the impact and the work of the restorative branch of the Social Justice Division at the Ministry of Justice. That's the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference during Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesday, February 7 at the Summit, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Ask the Consul this morning. And inside Ask the Consul, we're joined by Non-Immigration Visa Chief at the U.S. Embassy, David Johnson. He is answering your questions. If you have any concerns, any questions related to U.S. visas, obtaining a visa, renewing your visa, non-immigration questions, then you can give us a call. The numbers to call 876-630-9371-4 or 618-8255. If you're unable to call, remember our YouTube chat live or live chat is open, so you can ask your questions there as well. David, someone on YouTube, let me find the name, Michelle Brown says, good morning. I'm being filed for by my husband, who is a U.S. citizen. Can I still go ahead and renew my U.S. visa? Visitor's visa, I'm assuming.
Good morning, Michelle. Sure, yeah. Good morning, Michelle, and thank you for your question. The filing and application process for the spouse of a U.S. citizen moves pretty quickly. So depending on your current travel needs, you may decide to just wait for the immigrant visa process to reach its end, or you can still apply for your renewal. Now, when applying for a non-immigrant visa, obviously the first thing we look at is what your intent is. If your intent is to immigrate, then you don't qualify for a non-immigrant visa. But there is the possibility of dual intent. For example, if you're still working your job right now and you're waiting out the process, you may still be able to present to a consular officer that your current intent is as a non-immigrant, that you intend to go for a temporary visit and return to Jamaica while you wait out the immigrant visa application process. But if your intent is to actually immigrate and join your husband, then, and congratulations, by the way, then it may be a harder time convincing a consular officer under the circumstances that you intend to come back to Jamaica. So it's really it's still at the consular officer's discretion, and it depends on how you present your travel plans and what your actual intent is.
All right. So, Michelle, it's not impossible, just based on how you present the plans you have to travel and come back while you wait on your filing to come through. We have a call on the line, David. James, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Nora. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, James. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Can
Good.
I speak to
David?
my question that I have is, sir?
Good
I
morning,
have a
James. Yes.
son. My son. Yeah. Good morning, sir. I have a son. My son born in the state of Florida, which is now in Jamaica, but his passport is expired, and I am unfortunate to go to Jamaica right now. Only the mother can go down there. Now I'm a citizen here, and I want to know who can the mother get his passport renewing, for I cannot go to Jamaica at this time.
Sure. So the child is a U.S. citizen born in Florida, and they're in Jamaica now, and they need to get their passport renewed. Is that right?
Yeah, he born in Florida, but
Okay.
he's going to school now in Jamaica, and his passport is expired. So I need him to come up this year that he can finish high school up here. You know.
Okay. Yeah. So if he needs to apply for his passport renewal here in Jamaica, he would need to have parents' consent. So for a child under the age of 16, you need both parents consenting to the passport application. If one parent is here with him in Jamaica to help him apply, present his appointment, then the other parent can submit their consent through the consent form I mentioned earlier. It's the DS3053, I believe, is the number. But if you just search for passport parental consent, you'll find that, and then you can bring that notarized form with the application, and that would suffice both parents' consent.
The mother is here. He's there with his grandmother. The mother is here. So.
Sorry, he is here. Who is here with him? Which parents are here with him in Jamaica?
The grandmother. The grandmother.
Just the grandmother. Okay. Then he would need, if he's here and neither parent is here with him, he would need both parents' consent forms for the application then.
Okay, so both she and the grandmother, and the mother and the grandmother have to go, right?
Hold on, but James, are you saying that his mother is in Jamaica with him?
No, the mother is not there. The mother is actually here, so the mother
okay.
can go to
Right.
Jamaica. The mother is here in the United States.
Neither parent is in Jamaica, but the child is in Jamaica with his grandmother. His grandmother will bring him to the appointment, but he would need both parents' consent forms to be presented with the application.
Okay, all right. But the mother going down there sometime in next month. So that's why
That's fine then. She can either present in person with him at the appointment, or if she wants to apply, she wants him to apply while she's away in the U.S., she can send her a notarized consent form. Either one. If a parent's here in person, that's great. Otherwise, the consent form is perfectly acceptable as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You appreciate it?
You're welcome, James. Take care.
Thank you, Nora.
Yeah, man. No problem, James. Take care.
Have a beautiful day. And
you too. All right. Thank you so much for the support.
Hey, tell Mr. Hughes good morning and tell him to learn to cook, okay?
All right. He's sitting right over there. I'll tell him.
Yeah.
All right, then. No problem. We're almost up to... Yeah, man. Take care. We're almost up to the end of the program. I'm going to see if I can get some more questions in from our YouTube chat. There's someone on YouTube who was asking, Heritage Fern, asking what's the procedure for requesting visas for a group to travel for an educational trip to the United States.
Sure, that's a great question. We get a lot of these, and unfortunately we have lots of open B1, B2 visa appointments, so people can usually get their appointments within 30 days. Scheduling a large group can be harder because finding a block of 5 or 10 slots next to each other may be a couple months out yet. But what you can do if you want to schedule a group together is when you register for the appointment, you can book up to 10 people in one of the online scheduling accounts, so 10 at a time, and then schedule the earliest available date. If it doesn't meet your travel needs, you can then request an expedite. We see a lot of expedite requests like this for time-sensitive travel for things like school events, competitions, also for funerals, weddings, once in a lifetime activities like that. But if you don't find a block of appointments that meets your whole group's needs, then just schedule the earliest one that you can find, and then submit an expedite request through that same scheduling website with a reason for the expedite, the dates of your intended travel, and then we'll review those expedite requests as they come in. If your group is larger than 10, you just need to do it to schedule it in those blocks of 10. So so 10 at a time at most.
Okay. All right. And let me see if there is any other question that I can get in before we have to say go. I'm not sure what Brown Man on YouTube is saying, but I'll read the question. And David, you can see if there's any assistance you can offer. He says, "Hi, could I get some help for an elderly gentleman who is waiting on a date for a final interview to go and join his wife in the U.S. He has been waiting for 2 years now."
That's an extraordinary wait for a spouse of a U.S. citizen, or for an LPR for that matter. But the process is still the same as it would be for any case. If he's not received an interview appointment date from the embassy yet, or from NVC, the National Visa Center, then that's what he's waiting on. And so until your appointment is scheduled, an immigrant visa applicant's communication primarily is with the National Visa Center. Once the appointment is scheduled, then you're in the embassy's hands, and we assist with that process and for that. But if the appointment is not yet scheduled, then it's still with the National Visa Center and wouldn't be in the embassy's control yet. So I don't have much more to offer on that, unfortunately. That is an unusual delay, though, so it's worth looking into.
All right. Let me just go through quickly to ensure that I am not skipping or overlooking any other questions. All right. I am not seeing any new questions at the moment in the YouTube chat. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I want to thank you so much, David, for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your presence each month. And we hope that all those who called and asked questions were assisted, and they will get through with whatever it is that they need to. All right, I'm seeing one and I'll squeeze it in. Taylor on YouTube says, "My mother filed for my 2 brothers and myself. Both my brothers got their appointment, but I didn't." Taylor is coming in slow with the rest of the questions. I'm assuming he's asking if that's unusual, if there's anything that he can do to see what's wrong there.
Yeah, if they were all filed for together and they didn't get the appointments together, that would be unusual. And so I'd encourage them to go through the visa navigator with that question and try to reach someone in the immigrant visa unit for specific guidance. Sometimes with siblings, one may age out. So if a petition becomes current or approved after that the person has turned 21 years old, they wouldn't qualify for a visa as a child anymore. And so that's one possible situation. But it's at least worth reaching out to the immigrant visa unit and asking through the visa navigator.
All right. So that's where we're going to leave it now. Thank you so much again, David. Do enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Nora.
All right, that's where we're going to leave it for the Consumer Hour this morning. We're making way now for Cliff Hughes Online. Remember, we are outside this morning. We're here at the summit in New Kingston for the Ministry of Justice Restorative Justice Conference.
Ministry of Justice will host the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference at the Summit in New Kingston. This amazing conference will be hosted on Wednesday, February 7, starting at 10 a.m. Join Nationwide 90 FM during Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will bring you interviews from the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, and the Minister of Education and Youth, Fable Williams. Tune in and listen to the impact and the work of the restorative branch of the Social Justice Division at the Ministry of Justice. That's the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference during Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesday, February 7 at the Summit, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Justice, taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
Lord, me can go get ready for go vote here now. Me can't believe it's 7 years now since local government election no keep. I wonder if Maureen she ready. Maureen! Maureen, oi! Come now, man. Me want go catch you at a polling station before the line get long, you know.
We not tapping eyes. You come on me here before morning with the politics. Me not vote no local government election. It don't make no sense. And the council them can 7 or 11.
No, Maureen, don't do it. Local government election important. Are them responsible for repair the road them, you know? Clean the drain them and the gully them, Maureen. Take care of market where you go every Saturday. Are them responsible for provide the poor relief, Maureen? So whether you're PMP or JLP or any other P, your vote important.
But so what you say? You know that me vote for the MP for 2020. Me can't bother with the bag of election, you know.
No, Maureen. MP got parliament go pass law for the country. And the council of them got the municipal corporation go represent with specific community. Yeah.
Let me go for my voters' ID, yeah? This a local government that can't miss me.
Local government elections provide an opportunity for citizens to determine who will represent them at the municipal level. These elections are important. It's everybody's business. Get involved, make a plan, choose the best path forward for your community. Vote in the upcoming local government elections.
The mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs includes revising Jamaica's legal and constitutional infrastructure and accelerating the pace of reform. The time by the MLCA is
10 o'clock.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady. My eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light. And I held firmly to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255. Or find us on Facebook at Nationwide News Network and follow us on Twitter at Cliff Nationwide. You can also listen to Cliff Hughes Online live on the World Wide Web at nationwideradiojm.com or via the Nationwide 90 FM app on your mobile phone. Now, here's your host, Cliff Hughes.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's get to work.
Cliff Says is brought to you by Educom Credit Union, providing value through service.
Cliff Says, what's on his mind? Unfiltered analysis and commentary.
My hands were steady, eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday, February 7. Thank you so much for joining us here on Cliff Hughes Online. That week is going and time going so quickly. Yes? Can hardly keep up with the pace, not only of time, but the developments, the issues that we have to contend with. Yeah? It is quite challenging. Yeah? Quite challenging. So I want to say thank you for choosing to be with us on Cliff Hughes Online, Nationwide 90 FM, and to the members of the Jamaican community at home and abroad, yes, at home and abroad, who are here with us. Thank you so much. This morning, I want to bring attention to some developments regarding Mother Nature. I don't think much of the country is aware of what has been happening along the southern coast, southwestern coast, the northwest coast, and northern coastal communities of Jamaica over the last 2-3 days. Yes? I don't think we are aware that somehow very strong waves have been attacking coastal areas, beaches, to the point where there are fallouts in business and disruptions in livelihoods. Yes? There are tales of flooding, roads breaking away, collapsed seawalls, yeah, following the storm surges brought on by what we have been told is a cold front that's been affecting the island since Monday, Sunday night into Monday morning. We're getting reports that some areas such as Negril in Westmoreland, Montego Bay in St. James, Ocho Rios in St. Anne have been or are being battered by waves as high as 15 feet. Yes? This is how the president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Elaine Allen Bradley, described the situation in that western resort town yesterday.
The road has been deteriorating over the years, and this Mother Nature, it's now worse. And as the council caretaker said, we need right now some emergency funds. I don't know how...
Hold on, Mrs. Bradley. Mrs. Bradley, when you say a part of the West End is virtually cut off,
yes,
Tell us what you mean.
What is happening? The wall separates the sea from the road. The wall has gone. There's only a small part of that wall that's left. The road is now, people are now driving on the sidewalk. It's a one-way traffic. They're literally driving on the sidewalk. I just came in from a Chamber of Commerce Chamber directors meeting, and I just had to try to navigate myself on the sidewalk. And there is a massive corner at the church, so all traffic is just sort of backed up there. And it's bad. It's bad. And it's not, that's the worst part of the road, but all along the west end, right into the town, corner bar, in front of the BNS Bank, all that. There's water everywhere and debris.
And Miss Bradley, in your instance, this is a result of a deterioration in what you said is a seawall.
Yes, the seawall has been, the first color partly of that seawall was about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's been slowly deteriorating since.
That is the president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Elaine Allen Bradley. That's in Negril. In Montego Bay, many Jamaicans know where Pier 1 is. Pier 1 is a well-known, established for decades entertainment spot in the city of Montego Bay. And the owner of Pier 1, Jason Russell, says the road leading to his establishment has broken away. Parts
Not
of the road
good. It's
are
dire.
gone.
Right now we're at the mercy of Mother Nature, I would say, and she's not in our best of moods tonight. Right now we're looking at about 20 foot seas crashing through the restaurant. The road to Pier 1 is completely gone. We have about a foot.
Hold on. When you say completely gone, what do you mean?
We're missing a section of the road completely. We have a foot of sand and stone, just total debris in the yard of Pier 1, and the restaurant is totally flooded. But no injuries.
The parking lot is also flooded at Pier 1. Jason Russell there. The councillor for the Ocherius Division in St. Anne, Michael Belnavis, he told us that the pier in Ocherius was severely impacted yesterday.
There's been a high tide in the Ocherius along the coast from this morning early, unusually high tide. So the waves are in pretty much 10, 15 feet taller than normal. So there's been over-flashing of the pier due to the wave action on the rocks. So there's been flooding due to that. In addition to that, there are high squalls out there. So there's a lot of cleaning up and so on, but can only live with nature as it is right now. There are issues with disembarking because of the rocking of the waves. At the same time, the splashing of the water. It's really splashing of the water as the waves hit the pier or hit the gangway. So that is what we're experiencing right now.
That's
Councillor Michael Belnavis of the St. Anne Municipal Corporation. Well, what is happening? Because we heard there from the north coast. From the south coast this morning, we had someone from the Bluefields, community of Bluefields. He also told us that if you know Belmont in Westmoreland, yes, right on the coast, they were being battered by high waves as well. I heard him cautioning motorists, drive with your windows up. Yeah, because if not, you're going to get a sea bath. Right? So we are turning to the duty forecaster at the Meteorological Service, Javed Hudson, to help us to understand what is happening. Good morning, Javed.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to your listeners as well.
Yeah, what is happening? Because cold fronts normally bring such strong waves, high waves, that is destroying property. Thankfully, no lives lost. But what is happening?
Okay, the issue was with this particular cold front, because you usually have like a low-level jet stream behind cold fronts most of the time when they pass. But the issue is this low-level jet stream was much, much, much stronger than normal, because you had very, very high winds from the surface all the way up into the upper level. Like the kinds of winds we were seeing, you don't normally see those this far south at this time. This is like over the USA, you normally see this kind of pattern, but this was an unusually powerful low-level jet stream behind this cold front that passed across us late on Monday. So because of that, no, and it wasn't just the Jamaica area, it was like the entire Western Caribbean was under these strong winds for about 2 days. So it's like all the storm was just built up all of the water over time, and then by the time the front hit us, it just all of the waves just started to crash into the north and the west. Those much higher than normal waves. So that was the cause of the recent coastal flooding.
So Jamaica was affected. I gather Cayman Islands were also affected.
Well, as I said, there were strong winds all over the Western Caribbean. I'm not sure of the situation in the Cayman Islands or in Cuba, but for us, all of those waves coming all the way from the north, Western Caribbean just came down. As I said, they reached us from about Monday evening, and we all saw the results of that. As I said, it's an unusually strong low-level jet stream, because in my almost 8 years working here, I've never seen one this strong behind a cold front.
And what would have caused that, Mr. Hudson?
Well, the low-pressure system associated with this cold front was, the central low-pressure system was a bit further south than normal, because usually the low-pressure systems are over the USA. This one was like over the Gulf of Mexico, then over the Bahamas, and then it was a pretty strong low-pressure system for being this far south as well. So because of that, you just had all of these stronger than normal winds, much closer to Jamaica than they usually would be.
Yeah. And, of course, you have people already saying that this is climate change in action. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely, because, like I said, I've never seen one like this in my almost 8 years here. This is the first time I've seen winds this strong, and of course, as a result, waves this high associated with a cold front.
And have they now ended? Are they over? Or it's going to continue for a while?
The jet stream is still there. It's expected to stay through to Friday. However, the strongest winds associated with the jet stream have now moved to the east. So while we're still going to have some high waves, we're not expecting it to the same extent as what we saw Monday evening into yesterday. But as I said, the jet is still going to have those high waves coming in on the northern coastal areas. So there's still the chance for some coastal flooding, but like I say, not to the extent of what we saw Monday evening and yesterday.
And whatever action that will continue will shift to the east of the island. Is that what you're also saying?
Yeah, as I said, the worst of it has moved to the east of the island now, but we still have some strong winds through to Friday, more so on the north side, then also coming in to the southeastern coast, particularly St. Thomas by about Friday. But as I said, nothing of that magnitude anymore, what we saw late Monday, Tuesday, but still some high winds and waves.
Yeah. Wow. So this is going to be the new normal now for us in January, February, to have this kind of wave action and low-level jet stream so powerful? Is this going to be the new normal?
That's a good question. Maybe we might reach a point where we might have probably one system like this, maybe every season or every other season. That might end up what might be happening, but hopefully nothing more than that, because this was a pretty destructive event. Thankfully, no lives lost on the north side, but it was still pretty destructive.
Yeah. And let me ask, Mr. Hudson, the Met Service, yes? At what point did you all realize that, listen, this was an extraordinary, unusual front with this kind of wave action?
Yeah, we had seen it coming because the very first news release we had sent out was sent out over the weekend. I think the Saturday evening was when we had sent out the first release, and we had stated in that release that we're expecting winds near to gale force from Monday and Tuesday.
Yes, you did say that.
Monday and Tuesday for the strongest winds from back then.
Yes. But you didn't specify that we would see this kind of wave action.
Yeah, because the thing is, with the, like, usually, like, if we say that we're going to expect, like, maybe 30 knot winds, we probably say waves up to 3 meters or so. But the kind of waves we saw were in reality much higher than that, because we got reports of waves up to 6 meters on the north side yesterday. So what I think happens because the wind field was so expansive, it was a much more expansive wind field than normal. So I think, as I said earlier, all of that just kind of built up over time, and by the time it had reached to Jamaica, waves were just much, much higher than we were initially anticipating.
Yes, but you should have sent out something to tell people that, listen, man, we're going to be in for a rough ride, especially people on the coast.
Yeah, we ended up sending out another release yesterday, another special marine-related release yesterday.
Yeah, because I think part of the narrative here, this is unexpected. We didn't expect this kind of action. We have never seen this, as you said. It's the first we're seeing something like this. So in the future,
I don't think it's really the first it has happened. Just the first it happens. Like I heard that it's happened many years before, but it's been a long time.
The ferocity of the waves, caught people by surprise. I think that is it. Just didn't anticipate. Yeah, people up in Negril and in at Pier 1 in Montego Bay were just taken aback.
Yeah.
You know. So for the future, you may want to consider alerting us, that listener. Brace for some.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Hudson. Javed
Thank you for
Hudson.
having me.
You're welcome. He's a duty forecaster at the Meteorological Service. We're going to have more after the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock.
The Time brought to you by the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. Fueling growth everywhere is
20 minutes after 10.
Recycling Partners of Jamaica. Yeah, we got to make a change, and we have to do it now, can't wait for later. We put plastic in its place, and we all can agree that will be safer than in the gullies and in the drains. Recycling Partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place, yeah, the place of the clean. PET, the top of the ethylene. HDPE, buckle up, it get screen. Baby to granny, everybody roping. Yeah, we got to go green, you know what I mean. See the sign from the bin, if you drop it in, through car window you flick, that another thing. And we don't want no garbage in this game. No, we handle it and bug them are not the same. So listen up, Jamaica, I'm saying it's time to make a change. Recycling Partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place, and we all can agree that will be safer than in the gullies in the heavy rains. Recycling Partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place.
You know it's national. If you're up on the road or even home, it's always national. National. Even at church, have a snack at work. Little peanut no hurt. Crush crackers in a tea, give me 2 red please. Easy for share, can carry anywhere. Here or there, no other brand compares, yeah. And if you want something sweet, it's for unique. It's always national. You know it's national. You know it's always national. Jamaica born and bred. National Baking Company.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building time. Anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. Build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica, so vote for the JLP, yeah. Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. They build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island.
Them build parks in the communities with better facilities for the children play fun with you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright.
All right, so we heard from the duty forecaster at the Met Service, Javed Hudson. We're now going to hear from the mayors of the city of Montego Bay, Leroy Williams, and the town of St. Anne's Bay, Sidney Stewart. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Cliff.
Good morning. Who is this? This is Mayor Williams or Stewart?
This is Mayor Williams, yes.
Mayor Williams of Montego Bay. Are you there, Mayor Stewart? Mr. Stewart, are you there? No, I'm not hearing Mr. Stewart. So let me begin with you, Mayor Williams. What's the situation in Montego Bay now? Yeah?
Okay.
The cleanup has begun?
Yeah. Okay, of course, you know that the low-lying areas of Montego Bay are prone to storm surge. And we had some of that yesterday. Pier 1, a very popular entertainment complex, was seriously affected. Waves came across the entire boardwalk area, and the parking lot and the driveway were covered with water. The seawall, parts of the seawall was damaged, and there was some structural damage to the building. In terms of monetary figure, I could not say just now because the proprietor is still carrying out an assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mayor.
Okay, there were also storm surge in the White House fishing village, and there was considerable damage to the fishermen pots. They lost a lot of their pots, and their storage area was completely damaged. As a matter of fact, there are about 27 fisher folks that will have to get some form of remuneration, some sort of contribution towards their loss.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm. And what about the surrounding areas in the vicinity of Pier 1, Doctor's Cave, for example, Margarita?
In the Margaritaville area, of course, the wave came all the way up, but there was no damage to the building there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you that on the Elegant Corridor, the hotels Hyatt and Jewel Grand, there were beach erosion, and of course a lot of seaweed, came up on the beach.
Oh, so that is going to have to be cleaned up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but as of now, the action, the wave action, really ended yesterday. It hasn't continued into today.
I want to tell you that in the Pier 1 area, the wave is still pretty strong there.
Oh.
Yeah, as we speak.
Oh. So it's not yet over for them?
Not yet over.
Yeah. Well, anything else that we need to tell the public of Jamaica, the people of Montego Bay?
Well, there is a fishing village off the Howard Cook Boulevard. Yes, the fisher folks there lost some of their pots, but just about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And it's not raining in Montego Bay?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Thank you very much for that update, Mayor Williams.
Cliff. Okay, yes, you're welcome. Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, good.
And we're not making contact with Mayor Stewart. But that is the situation. Yeah? You have been brought up to speed. Let's shift gears now. The police are reporting, or the JCF is reporting, that so far this year, when compared to the corresponding period last year, murders are down 24%. 24%. And we can only hope that this is sustained. But if you're a little skeptical, a little cynical, you'll recall that last year we saw a significant decline as well in the early part of the year, and then that reduction just almost wiped out to what? Just under 8-10% at the end of the year. But so far, there's been a 24% reduction in murders. Yes? According to the JCF, there were 83 murders between January 1 and February 3. That's 26 fewer than the 109 recorded for the corresponding period last year. Yeah? The police divisions where there have been reductions in murder: St. Mary, Westmoreland, Hanover, Clarendon, Kingston East, St. Thomas, St. Andrew North, Kingston West, and St. Andrew South. Oh, all recorded reductions over the period. Yeah? And there were no such reduction in St. Catherine North and South and Manchester. All three had increases in murder. Yes? But shootings, there have been 10 more reports of shootings when compared to last year. Rape is down by a significant 44% for the period, 44%, while break-ins have fallen by 8%. Yeah? All right. I hear we have the Mayor of St. Anne's Bay. Mayor Stewart, Sydney Stewart.
Yes, I'll come back later. Morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you very clearly. My name is
Wonderful.
Cliff Hughes. I want to find out what
Morning,
is happening.
Mr. Hughes. How are you? Morning to your listeners.
Me good. What is happening to your coastal areas in St. Anne's Bay and Ocherius with the wave action we have been hearing about?
Yes. But the information I received from our disaster preparedness department is that they had a couple of shocks of what they classified as sea swells. And it emerges very suddenly. We had two cruise ships in Harbour at the time that were docked. One was at the Reynolds Pier, the other was at the UDC Pier. Now, this spate of sea swells, of course, affected the Reynolds Pier, and then the ship that was in Harbour was affected, got some damages. My understanding is that we had a number of 2,550 plus passengers on board at the time, 128 crew members. None of the passengers or crew members were hurt, but the cruise ship suffered some damages below where from our main terminal. Mm-hmm. And therefore the ship was not able to, it was disabled for a while, it was not able to depart. And the passengers were accommodated at the Island Village shopping complex, where there are some measure of accommodation that could secure them for a period. Mm-hmm. Now, I must admit that being a little non-technical, I need to learn some more about these sea swells, but I understand it was several waves of water that just emerged and went above certain heights. And it was so huge that the ship in harbor was damaged.
Yeah. And I saw your parts of your pier were flooded. Right. People continuing to do their hairdressing, in water.
Yes.
I saw
and it brings
that
us
video.
to the point where I think we need to now take a severe look at Ocherius as a bay, Ocherius as a complex, and one of the fastest growing tourism destination. It was beautifully done in those days. It's still maintaining its beauty, but a number of things now that climate change, will bring you to the point where you have to look at several other things. Uh-huh. Because this emergence of sea waves and sea swells, I think, is as a result because we're dealing with water. Water is one of the primary things among climate operations.
Yes.
So I think as a nation, we will have to now take out, and I know studies have been going on, but we have to move a little faster to see how we can protect some more the shore, not just the shore of Ocho. I mean, the entire seashore across the length and breadth of Jamaica, because we know about, we learned so much about tsunamis, among other dangerous things that can emerge. Of course, we are aware of what hurricane brings.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. But it surprises me when I got the call and when I saw it came up in our emergency operation group that we organized, where we transmit this kind of information to all the agents and the members very quickly, to hear that sea swells, could have gone to the point and emerged, so it damages a ship in armor.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me wish you well.
Good, good.
Thanks so much.
You too. Good,
Okay.
good. The mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Sydney Stewart. Time for the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
Mind your business, JA with Jump Online.
The time brought to you by the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal is
34.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates. First-time registration land surveys also included. Affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Me pull up at the gas station and the attendant come up.
87 or 90?
I don't know why him think I would put 87 in my new car. But me answer him. But when him say
cash or card,
me say, big man, why would I take my cash and buy gas? I pay for everything with my Sagicor Bank credit card. Grocery, gas, bills. Cause when you use your card, you get your reward. If I pay cash, you are gonna give me a reward?
Me can wipe your windscreen.
Earn the best rewards ever with Sagicor Bank credit cards. Conditions apply.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And I should tell you, we are at the summit on Ruthven Road, where they are marking Restorative Justice Week. And you know, we have been doing several programs on restorative justice because it is so important, given the fact that we are a crime-ridden society where we are unable to peacefully resolve our differences or conflicts. And so often we say, but them not really do nothing for try and deal with it. Well, that's not so in the case of restorative justice being promulgated by the Ministry of Justice. And they are here at the summit this morning for the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference under the theme Transformation, Peace and Harmony through Restorative Justice. And the theory is that, listen, put in place an institutional mechanism so that people at the community level can have access, yes? Can know that when they have a dispute, they have a conflict, there's a mechanism there, yes? To deal with it, instead of having to go through the more laborious process of the courthouse. So that's what we're doing here this morning. In the meantime, the head of the St. Anne Police, Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, is warning political candidates in the local elections that the police will be coming down hard on any action that disturbs the peace and prevents the fair and free holding of elections. That's the word from Senior Superintendent of Police, Dwight Powell. Will they listen to him? Will they take him seriously? This is what he said.
One other thing I'm going to say to you, as required by the Public Order Act and the Representation of the People's Act, for your campaign activities, you are to ensure that we are kept abreast of your campaign activities. So one, the Public Order Act states that you must not keep any meeting, any gathering, any motorcade without notifying the police activities. So I don't want the kind of confrontation. So I must tell you, as best as possible, avoid the kind of confrontation between the parties. So two parties can be at the same place at the same time. And when the supporters start to behave bad, then it's my job to fix that. I'm going to say, no water in my mouth. I don't have no problem fixing any problem.
Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell. Well, let us see now. Well, the Minister of Justice, Mr. Delroy Chuck, is now addressing the 15th staging of the Restorative Justice Conference. Let's join him.
Welcome, and I thank you all for being here. Minister Marshall Smith has taken away my speech, so I put it down. I couldn't bring it, so I have to speak off the cuff. As was said, I preach restorative justice. I ask myself, as I ask everyone as I go in the ministry and to the justice centers, with such a successful program, such a strong and powerful tool to heal conflicts, to reconcile parties, why is it not being used more? Is it that we at the Ministry of Justice, in the justice centers, are we doing enough to get this program sensitized so that more people can use it? And that is why I'm so happy, Minister Marshall Smith and Mr. Troop, that we have got into this MOU with the Ministry of Education. And you know that it is bearing fruit. But we want to be able to put it in all the schools. And you also want to be able for every child in the school to know about RG. Last year as I toured parishes and I go to the schools and I meet school children who have heard about restorative justice. Not one hand goes up. That is not where we have done the course, but I'm talking in the rural areas. And it saddened me that, we are trying our best to preach. So my presentation this morning is to invite all of you here, who are all facilitators or volunteers for RG. We now have to move with missionary zeal. Not only in the schools, but in the churches, the communities, the business places, the construction sites. Because Jamaica is plagued with violence. And I'm happy that since the beginning of the year, we have had a 24% reduction in murders. We should be proud of that. Thank the police for the outstanding work they're doing. Maybe there was some persons who resolve conflicts before they decide to use violence, and therefore that may have saved a killing or avoided a killing. But the truth is that we know that if persons can resolve disputes and conflicts peacefully, we can have less murders. And that is why I say RJ and other alternative dispute resolution if we can get it into the minds and into the culture of our society, of our people and our societies, then we can continue to reduce murders, which we have to do. It is just not right that we can have over 1,000 murders per year. And I hope that 2024, for the first time perhaps in 30 odd years, we can see murders drop in below 1,000. Wouldn't that be great? But I say we can't leave it to the police alone. The citizens of this country must all be prepared to be informers. Because I tell you, I'm the biggest informer. All informers are heroes. And where they see persons with guns or threatening violence, bring the police into it. Let us see if we can prevent a few of these criminal activities and also murder. And I know that there are other partners in the society who must also contribute. I speak to the JPs regularly. Ask them what part can they play. Because over 30% of our murders are from domestic dispute. Husband and wife can't get along. Mother and child can't get along. Father and son. You see how many domestic murders occur regularly? Over 300 per year. And I know that restorative justice can play a part. The testimonials are such that when you listen to them, you ask, why doesn't Jamaica know more about this healing power of restorative justice? One of them I remember while I was sitting there, of this woman, this daughter who killed her mother. She's still in custody. But she somehow heard about restorative justice while in prison. And she said she would like to speak to her sisters. None of them wanted to speak to her. Somehow, however, our facilitator was able to get a couple of her sisters to sit with her and talk, and she explained what the problem she was having with her mother. And after the circle was going on, the restorative justice circle was going on, and when they heard the problems she had, she was living with her mother, they all broke down and cried on one another's shoulder. And the sisters who never wanted to see her again now visit her regularly in the custody. And I'm saying, she said if she had only known about restorative justice before, she could have avoided the killing of her mother. And I'm saying to you, facilitators, we're going to help you to go into the nooks and crannies. And I'll be harassing the permanent secretary and the financial director to let go some money. You hear, Mr. Rennie? Because when we ask you to go out and speak in the schools, in the churches, in the communities, we do pay a stipend. But I think the Ministry of Justice is holding too tight a rein on this money. That is not to say that you must abuse it. What is happening also, I say to the Justice Center, restorative justice centers, be kind. Don't feel that because a person has done 6 or 8 sessions, they're making more money than you. It's neither here nor there. They're going out doing good work. So if they make 50,000 or 100,000 for the week or the month, and they're doing a good job, allow them to continue. And we want more of the 400 trained facilitators facilitators to take on this responsibility. Not that you go out and you go talk to a community and you ask for the stipend. And before you go out and speak to a community group, go to a site because you're invited to speak. Make sure you get the approval to go, otherwise you're not going to get the stipend. I think that's natural. Accountability is very important. But I'm going to ensure that for the rest of the year, that the money bag sort of open up a bit more. Because you're doing a fantastic job. And it is important, as I spoke with Minister Williams, we can get some of their money too. The Ministry of Education has a lot of money. Its budget is 100 times the Ministry of Justice. So, Minister Marsha Smith and Mr. Richard Troop, carve out a couple 100,000 for me, a couple million, that you will pay our restorative justice facilitators when they go and do sessions in the schools. We can work together. The point about it is that we have so many good facilitators who can put on 2-hour sessions in classrooms, who can put on 2-day sessions for parents and community members. And I'm saying to all of you here who are facilitators and volunteers, get ready to map out all of Jamaica so that all of Jamaica can know about restorative justice. Show them one of the book. Richard, let me have one of those. This book. I told Jamie we're going to print 1,000, we're going to print 5,000 copies. And when you're going to the, I don't know where we're going to get the money from, but we'll find it. This book has a lot of details about restorative justice. And when you go into the communities, read some of what is in it. You have seen it. To the people, how RJ heals, restores, and reconciles. Because the material is there. And when you go out, you then train them how to avoid conflicts. And if they're in conflicts, how to resolve the conflict. And a lot of the material is here in this book that you can teach and people can learn. It's a green paper that was presented in Parliament. But I need more buy-in to this green paper and to the healing power of restorative justice. But you, facilitators, you must be the messenger. You must be the apostle, the apostles of RJ. And that is why I say, from now on, you have a long task ahead of you. We must play our part to reduce murders in this country, to reduce violence, to reduce indiscipline and wrongdoing. And I know we can if you just go out and preach the message of restorative justice. So please, I'm going to beg you, keep in touch with Jamie. Let me know if the money bag open. Not for you to enrich yourself, but to go out and preach the gospel of restorative justice. I thank all of you. Have a good conference.
That's the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, yes, making the case for restorative justice here at the summit. We're going to take a break and come back now.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright, my walk had purpose.
Can you believe Jamaica does not have an anti-discrimination legislation? We need one now. The time, brought to you by Jamaica Aid Support for Life, is
10:52.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building high. Anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica, so vote for the JLP, yeah. Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. Them build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island. Them build parks in the communities with better facilities for the children play fun with you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
You know it's national. If you're up on the road or even home, it's always national. National. Even at church, have a snack at work. Little peanut no hurt. Crush crackers in a tea, give me 2 red please. Easy for share, can carry anywhere. Here or there, no other brand compares, yeah, yeah. And if you want something sweet, it's a for unique. It's always national. You know it's national. You know it's always national.
Jamaica born and bred National Baking Company.
On Monday, February 26, 2024, the country will go to the polls to vote in the local government elections. The battle between the two main political parties, plus ambitious smaller parties, and a clutch of independents will be pitched in 228 divisions across the island. Andrew Holness and the JLP say they've done enough to be given a new term in charge of local governments. But Mark Golding and the PNP say time come to send the Labourites packing. What will influence your decision? Who'll get your vote? Nobody in Jamaica covers politics better than Nationwide 90 FM, and your revolution in media will be at it again for the local polls. It's the Labourites versus the Comrades, February 26, with Sadie Abering.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose. My steps were quick.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Summit Hotel on Ruthven Road this morning, where it's the 15th staging of Restorative Justice Conference. This week is being observed as Restorative Justice Week, and the case for restorative justice is well made. Yes, beyond debate. Yes, as we heard from the minister a while ago, we are a violent society, we are unable to resolve our conflicts, and this is part of an effort now to, but what is, are you able to measure the success?
Oh yes.
Tell me.
What we know, matters coming from the courts.
Mm-hmm.
When the courts refer, I'm not denying that might be appropriate cases, not murder and so on.
Mm-hmm.
The settlement is 90% successful. In other words, for every 100 that they send to the restorative justice facilitator, the parties go into a circle with the restorative justice facilitator, they work out, and they settle in 90% of the cases. When it comes from the community or the police, it is 70-odd%. So overall, we have an 80% success rate. So we are only looking at cases where people actually go into the circle. The problem, Cliff, is that we don't have more people going to the circles because not more people are being referred. In other words, and I beg the justice of the peace, I beg Jamaicans, if you know of a dispute, say in a family, urge them to go to restorative justice now. Last year at a similar conference in church in Priory, St. Anne, there was this, I spoke about it, there was this wife who said when she got married, we were supposed to be one flesh. But since they got married, they just quarrel every day. They just, can't see eye to eye. And she decided, she went to the Restorative Justice Center because someone referred her. The facilitators in St. Anne were able to bring the husband and her together. They had several sessions. We call it Restorative Justice Circles. And she was able to say openly in church, crying. I said, I can tell you, me and my husband now are together every day. I feel like one flesh now.
Good.
And when you listen to these testimonials, and I'm sure when you So they can give you some other testimonials. I give you one with the daughter in prison. I can tell you one about a bishop whose family was torn apart. And after they went to restorative justice, he and his son, who had not spoken for years, now speak pious per day. So, you know, the healing power of restorative justice is not only in Jamaica, across the world. Because the idea is, how do you get someone to admit that my behavior, what I did, was wrong? You know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But once they're willing to say, you know, I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I shouldn't deal with you like that. And the other person is willing to say, all right, I forgive you. And then you start pull together. It reconciles. And that is why you call it restorative justice, that bring parties back together. Because oftentimes it's just one remark, you know, that caused them to
go apart.
Or one act, and then if you can just go to it.
So the big challenge is to get more Jamaicans
absolutely
to make use of the RJ process.
Absolutely. Not everybody wants to go in there, because we Jamaicans like to blame others. We don't want to admit and take responsibility for our action.
Yes.
And that is why, you know, sometimes it fails, because, you know, in a few cases, the facilitator have to encourage them. We are in a circle here. Tell us why you did it, you know? So sometimes not in that circle, the facilitator who has been trained get the opportunity to pull out. Why are you behaving like this? Why did you do this? Why did you say this? So that facilitator have been so trained. And when that wrongdoer come out and confess why he or she did it, the victim oftentimes start crying on one another's shoulder. I mean, the experience that the facilitator tell you is that in close to 50% of the cases, the circles end in tears.
Yeah.
So there's a healing power. And as you say, how do we get a family who has been torn apart to get back together? Yes, many of them, we have victim counseling. So if a victim, very often, when the victim has been injured and they go to victim services, we try to encourage the victim service counselors to try to get the other party to go to restorative justice. So these are some of those that have been referred to the RJ centers. But the truth about it, Cliff, we have in less than 2,000, we have 22 centers. We'd like to have 5,000 or 10,000 of these circles.
Yes.
Take it from me, Cliff. Murders would come down. I think that if more people take up restorative justice, I think the reduction in murder will be approaching 50% this year. And this is what my challenge to everyone. We need to get out there and see if we can get murder reduction. When it starts getting closer to 50% reduction,
then you feel better.
I feel that we're making some steps ahead.
All right, we're up on a break. Stay with us, please.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
The two main political parties are hunting for votes ahead of the local government elections. The PMP says time come.
This will be a referendum on this government. This will be an earthquake for the Labour Party government.
While the JLP says it's building communities.
There has never been a government of Jamaica that has had so many achievements to go and face the people with.
But how do the voters see it? Well, the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools will tell us. Is there daylight between Golding's PMP and Honus's JLP? Who do the people trust more to manage their local affairs? The stakes are high. There's everything to play for. Who will get the nod? Your authority on politics nationwide 90 FM has the numbers. Join us starting at 6 a.m. on Nomination Day, Thursday, February 8 for all the results. That's the nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools on Nationwide 90 FM. Your revolution in media.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock.
Welcome back to the Summit Hotel, where we're talking restorative justice. And you heard the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, yes, pleading with more Jamaicans to make use of the restorative justice circles, mechanisms, yeah? How many people you have out in the field to facilitate and to...
We have 400 trained. We have one in the 22 restorative justice centers, but attached to... And we have 400 trained persons who can conduct these circles.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them are underutilized because we only use them at the court or we get referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been, and we are also using them in the schools now, but we have been trying to partner with the churches to see if we can train more, but also to urge the churches to assist in a partnership where we can sensitize more people about what restorative justice is.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that not many people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I said, that when you go into communities, I say, have you heard about restorative justice? Nobody has heard.
Yeah.
So the challenge really is for the Ministry of Justice to, as I say, to go out there and preach in the nooks and crannies about restorative justice, and hopefully more referrals will come.
Okay.
So that is the mission, which I'm saying that we are now telling people, if a church invites you, or if a school invites you, or a community invites you, then we pay them a stipend to go out and talk about it. And if it's to be trained to become a facilitator, a 2-day session, we pay our trainers to do so.
All right.
And it's not, I said, we need to do more of that. That's the challenge.
All right. The Chuck Political Ombudsman Bill amendment in the Parliament yesterday.
A beautiful bill.
Is it? See there, the lead story in both papers this morning. The Observer, government has its way. Ombudsman bill pushed through House. Opposition says move disgraceful.
Well...
And the Gleaner, rolling on. Government rejects eminent panel suggestion, passes ombudsman bill amid opposition dissent. Why are you so determined to push this through with so much speed?
What the opposition should explain is how, right up to last Monday, they supported the subsuming. You may not have heard me in Parliament yesterday.
No, I didn't hear you yesterday.
Or see the letter that was drafted and by all the leaders in Parliament, that is Philip Paulwell, Senator Peter Bunting. A letter, they had a discussion and agreed that the political ombudsman, this is in early November, before the last political ombudsman demitted office in November 22. And the letter is dated November the 4th. And 2022.
Uh-huh.
And then November the 10th, the letter was drafted by the Speaker, sent around to the members. I see that all who were emailed. Senator Peter Bunting said, no objection, get on with it.
Oh?
And I don't know if I can show you,
yes,
and I will send you a copy of the...
This letter was dated November 2022.
November the 4th, 2022.
By all...
And I will show you the thread
of
email where it was sent to all the leaders in Parliament.
Yes.
And November...
Including the leader of government business, the leader of opposition business, in both houses.
In both houses.
And that would include Mr. Bunting, Senator Bunting.
Well, he was on November the 10th.
Yes.
Because he wanted a response by November the 10th. And on November the 10th, they all were reminded, I need your response. This is the Speaker, then Speaker of the House, Marissa Dalrymple.
Uh-huh.
And he said, no objection. Please ask the executive to get on with this so that there's no long delay, time period between the end of the last ombudsman and the subsuming of the OPO into the ECJ. The letter spoke about that the political ombudsman as a separate entity was no longer needed because it had a limited role, and both commissions were doing similar work. Yesterday, Mark Golden in Parliament said what they discussed was about cost sharing, you know. But I spoke to members this morning. I couldn't believe that Mark Golden could be saying that. And persons who were at that meeting said that was a simple matter that said, yes, it would save the cost. But they discussed the subsuming of the OPO into the ECJ. Moreover, all of 2023, I am in constant touch with the chairman, Earl Jarrett. Send him letters, speak to him on the phone, send him cabinet submissions. At no time has he ever said that there are members, which include 2 opposition members. At no time did he ever said that the members have concern about taking on the role of the political ombudsman. And here have the letter. This is a letter where he's reminded on November the 10th, reference me to the caption letter, the draft which you see over here. Please be reminded that your comments on the proposed letter are required as a matter of urgency. We look forward to your response. Senator Peter Bunting responded, I have no objection. I would urge the executive to speedily consider the recommendations of the committee so that there will not be a protracted period between the departure of the ombudsman and the successor arrangements. This is the letter that was drafted, and here you will see, Cliff, that what they are proposing is very straightforward. The Commission knows that the process of examining the status of the office of the political ombudsman, the Parliament may wish to consider a move to have the office of the political ombudsman subsumed by the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, as the mandate of the 2 commissions and their roles in our society have proven to be complementary.
Wow.
Have I made my case? And I'm saying even the last letter, from the ECJ, where they said, because at one time I was in discussion with them, can we just appoint 1 member to be the political ombudsman? Or can we, and they said no. Then I said, can we just use the 4 selected members? They said no. We want all 9 members because we are an indivisible body. We make our decision, and the decision comes from the indivisible body.
Collectively.
Collectively. And I read that parts of that letter in Parliament, and I circulated the letter to people. So
why the flip-flop now?
Well, you have to find out. There's no doubt in my...
You know, tell me.
I think the truth is that this present leadership of the People's National Party is looking for political capital out of everything. You just, the most minor thing, they try to milk political capital. You just have to see what happened in St. Thomas with that incident, where clearly the man was defending himself, and listen to the leadership. Right across St. Thomas and across 89 Old Hope Road. They're trying to milk political capital out of a most unfortunate incident. And I have no doubt, and that is my view, that this change of heart, the flip-flop, at the last moment, is to milk political capital at this time.
But this is embarrassing.
It's worse than embarrassing.
This is embarrassing.
And then he goes up and say that it had to do with saving costs. Saving what costs? This had nothing to do about saving costs. Yes, if you remove the office of political ombudsman, to be frank with you, the main cost was the payment to the ombudsman. It had nothing to do with costs. It had to do, from 2012, Warmington said, there's no need for this political ombudsman any longer. It was adopted unanimously in Parliament in 2012. Nothing occurred. And when we got to power in 2016, Warmington said, we'll do it. And we said, there's a political ombudsman there. Let it come to the end of her term, and then we will do it. And that is why we waited then. it was picked up just
Let me ask you, one of your members, Mr. Samuda, a veteran parliamentarian, been there since the inception of the ECJ, yes? He says, don't do it. Don't contaminate the ECJ.
Well, you know,
I'm sure you have had a discussion with him since then.
No.
You haven't?
No. I have not spoken to him about it because I was very disappointed that he knew all along that we are going to do it, and at the last moment he should do that. I was very disappointed, but I haven't spoken to him. You know, the argument now is that you have a strong, independent, trustworthy body recognized locally, regionally, internationally as being a very strong, successful body. And therefore, if you go give them partisan material to adjudicate on, it might contaminate them. I've never heard such nonsense, with due respect. First of all, Cliff, you have 4 selected members. I mean, the proposal Mark was putting to me, let us appoint 3 eminent persons just for this period until we can make a decision. Can you want 4 more eminent persons than the present selected members who have checks and balance from 2 members of each political party, plus the resources of the director of elections, who has offices in all 63 constituencies? So information, intelligence, corroboration of anything that takes place can come in from any of the 63 constituencies. So you see, Cliff, when we discuss it at Cabinet, we saw that this is the right body to say that these 4 selected members, people of integrity, one a former Chief Justice.
So what happens when that commission rules against one of your members and said, listen, your member, Labour Party MP or politician, was wrong in how he... Then you're not going to accuse them of being biased, like how we now accuse the Integrity Commission of being biased?
When you have 2 of that party members there participating in that decision making, if it is ruled against me, I would ask my members, why did they rule against me? He may not want to say the discussion, but you comply. Because the 2 members who are sitting on the commission are sent there by the leader, the chairman, and the general secretary to make decisions that is, acceptable to the party. So that if he can't persuade the other 7 members that you shouldn't rule against that person, then we must accept the decision. Because that's a decision that is coming from this body after discussion, after corroboration, and therefore, if the decision is to withdraw, to apologize, or that person must not run, then I suspect that the party will accept that decision, as we have been doing all along. So to say that the body could be partisan, could be tainted, I find it unmeritorious.
You're going to give the commission teeth? So you are guilty of misconduct?
No. We discussed that, Cliff. You don't want to criminalize the political code of conduct. We feel that whereas a single person, their recommendations were ignored, I think it will be very difficult for the party or a member of a party to ignore the decision of 9 persons. That is the moral strength of saying, leave it to the 9 members to make the decision.
Okay. Tomorrow is nomination day. There's a battle going on for the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the prize corporation for the local municipalities. I gather your party is struggling to win cases.
I beg your pardon. Listen, man. We don't start to gallop yet. We're cantering. And I put it to you, we now have 23
divisions in the KCMC.
We are not going to win less than 25. And the 26th and the 27th, you're listening and you say, boy, that truck's so wrong. our trucks are right. So those of them that they mark down, we are not going to win less than 25.
25 of the 40?
It might be more, but I said not less than 25.
Oh? And
listen, you have to understand, first of all, I have never seen such political dunce as a leader of the opposition to put this as a referendum on the government. If you had any good sense, you leave it to community matters, no? But this is the best performing government in the history of this country. And the people know it. Yes, we have some problems to resolve across the country. We have many roads that need to be fixed, many people that need water, many people who are still in poverty. But they can see that this government is getting things done, that the ministers are working hard, that we have a prime minister who is the most hard-working prime minister this country has ever seen. And they love him. So,
did you just say we have never seen an opposition leader as dunce politically as this one?
Absolutely. I mean, to put this as a referendum, I think that is a level of political dunce. That is why, with due respect, I say no more.
No, man, go on.
A lot of his people are telling me that.
That he's a political dunce?
Yes. How could he do that?
Oh?
And that is why you have more and more comrades coming across. I have one of my political who ran against me. So she voted for me in this election. I said, why? I have to vote for you. A lot of comrades across the country realize that time come for some people to go.
Among those people?
The leadership, the present leadership of the PNP, who can't be trusted, who have divided the People's National Party, who have sidelined some of their best members, who have caused many of their members to move across to the JLP, like Venetia Phillips. You heard her. And I'm saying it will be, the gallop will soon begin. Take it from me, Kingston and St. Andrews, home and dry.
Delroy Chuck is a veteran member of Parliament for Northeast St. Andrew, and you're into your 6th term now?
I'm finishing up my 6th term, and I will be there for the 7th term. You see, I went to the vim, vigor, and vitality still in me.
Thank you, Mr. Chuck.
All the best to you,
all right,
listeners.
Did you hear him? Did you just hear him? Let's go to the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock, like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
21 minutes after 11.
JampJA.org. Mind your business, JA with Jump Online. Are your business? They keep your government in line.
Use the MP tracker. If you watch how them a move, the account meter help them improve.
Take action.
Use the jump tool.
Track your MP cause they work for you. Mind your business, JA with Jump Online.
Let's monitor government at JampJA.org. Funded by the European Union and the UK International Development.
On Monday, February 26, 2024, the country will go to the polls to vote in the local government elections. The battle between the two main political parties, plus ambitious smaller parties, and a clutch of independents will be pitched in 228 divisions across the island. Andrew Holness and the JLP say they've done enough to be given a new term in charge of local governments. But Mark Golding and the PNP say time come to send the Labourites packing. What will influence your decision? Who'll get your vote? Nobody in Jamaica covers politics better than Nationwide 90 FM, and your revolution in media will be at it again for the local polls. It's the Labourites versus the Comrades, February 26, with Sadie Abering.
Looking to rent a fully operational production studio? Then Nationwide 90 FM has got you covered. We have flexible options to meet your recording needs any day of the week. Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays available upon request. Bookings must be made in advance. Call us today at 630-1210. Let us help you reach your production desires.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm.
Well.
What I felt was right.
You know, there are some interviews you do, and I've been doing interviews for a long time. And during the interview, you are not bold, but stunned. And Delroy Chuck stunned me a while ago. One, the case of the opposition in the parliament, this political ombudsman bill to subsume it into the office of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, has been thoroughly undermined, the opposition's case, thoroughly undermined by the support the commission, the bill got from within its own ranks. From Mr. Bunting, leader of opposition business in the Senate. You can't take back these words now, you know. They are in print. Here it is from Peter Bunting, November 10, 2022, 11:08 a.m. I have no objection. I would urge the executive to speedily consider the recommendations of the committee so that there will not be a protracted period between the departure of the ombudsman and the successor arrangements. That's from Peter Bunting. And now, Mark Golding is pretending that that doesn't exist, which led to Mr. Chuck going on the offensive, calling him a political dunce. A political dunce. Wow. But we're here to talk about restorative justice. And we're being joined by Jamie and Siobhan, right? Siobhan. She is the principal director of the Social Justice Division. You're one of the drivers of the initiative to really get Jamaicans to buy into restorative justice. And correct. Minister Chuck told me a while ago that the challenge is to get more Jamaicans to use it. You have 400 trained facilitators across the island.
Right.
But Jamaicans not really using it in the kind of numbers that you would like. What are you going to do differently to get them to use it?
Well, I think one of the things that we have a challenge with in terms of getting Jamaicans to use restorative justice is one, the understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are pushing a campaign now to sensitize and make the public more aware. Outside of that, we are going to be trying to go into the communities, to have little meetings, community meetings, and educate the public, because I think we are used to doing things in a particular way, and restorative justice is something that is more or less new.
Mm-hmm.
And so it will take some time, but we are committed to do it. So We are doing our public awareness. We are going into our communities. We are going into our schools. We are trying to get our churches on board, which, you know, they are very influential in the spaces that they are in. And hopefully with this, we can change a mindset of Jamaicans that not necessarily everything has to go to court.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything has to probably go directly to the police. If there's any indication that there is a conflict or you're feeling uneasy with a situation, before it escalates, you can just walk into a restorative justice center.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the challenge that we need is just to get out there some more.
Yeah.
And so as we expand our resources, I believe we can
And
do
you
that.
speak of the partnerships.
Right.
And the Ministry of Education is a critical partner.
Critical, yes.
Tell me how you're making use of that.
Well, with what we're doing, our MOU states that we do sessions for each school. So we each semester or term for high schools, we have a schedule of schools that we know that we have not engaged with as yet. And so we go into the schools and we are provided with students. Some are student leaders, some are regular students, and some they do exhibit behavioral challenge. So we want there to be a span of those students who benefit from the program. It's a 2-day program, and we go through the program with them. Yeah.
And in terms of the engagement of your guidance counselors?
Yes. So we have, in general, guidance counselors participate in the sessions as well as dean of disciplines, which are critical. Because in the space when an issue arises, those are the admin go to people. And so we try to ensure as much as we can based on their availability that they also take part in the trainings within the schools.
And in terms of the number of centers, are you satisfied that you have enough?
Well, we have centers in the main thoroughfares, main city centers in each parish. We could have satellite centers, but that then is dependent on the need, because of course, you know, you can't just build without the numbers saying that there is a need in a particular space. For example, in Kingston, in certain communities, you would see that there are centers set up by virtue of whether they are considered to be a little bit more volatile than others, and so you know that there's a high incidence of conflict that the center and or staff needs to assist with.
Yeah.
So you have in Tivoli Gardens, Greenwich Farm, Trenchtown, and this is not to stigmatize these areas, but we know their history, but we just want to ensure that they know that we're there to assist if an issue arises.
And as you name those communities that are challenged socially, yes, do you have restorative justice centers in the not so challenged communities? Upper St. Andrew.
Well, we have our St. Andrew Justice Center, which is just in Hagley, on Hagley Park Road, across from Mother's York Plaza. Right.
And you have in Grandspin, not Grandspin, Augustown.
Yes, we do have one in Augustown as well, and they're doing a tremendous job there. So depending on where we see the need and how central a location is, can we also consider the cost of travel.
Yes.
Right, and accessibility for our clientele. We try to put a center there.
Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Jamie Ann Shavans. She is Principal Director in the Social Justice Division of the Ministry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good. Time for the break. After the break, your calls.
Were steady. My eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock.
Studying overseas? Contact Versan Educational Services Kingston, Montego Bay, or New York office at 876-755-2187 or read the Wednesday blog at www.versan.org for more information. The time by Versan, VES is best, is
11:32.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building time. anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. Build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica, so vote for the JLP, yeah. Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. Them build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island. Them build parks in the communities with better facilities, with the children play upon with you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The other day, me at the supermarket buying some groceries. When me reached the cashier, she said, "Cash our card." Me look at her and say, "Cash give you travel points. Cash give you cash back. Cash give you rewards. Lady no must card. I pay for everything with my Sagicor Bank credit card. Grocery, gas, bills. Cause when you use your card, you get your reward."
Sir, stop all up the line.
Sorry, miss. Earn the best rewards ever with Sagicor Bank credit cards. Visit sagicor.com to apply today. Conditions apply.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's 11:34. Let me tell you, I'm laughing because I'm reading some of the comments on our YouTube platform, and they're absolutely hilarious. Yes? Marigold Weber, this is in relation to the Delroy Chuck interview. This interview was a fire. But listen to what San says. You draw out the man, and know you talk about you're stunned. But only few people you can draw out, Cliff. Me draw out anybody this morning. I simply ask questions. It is up to Mr. Chuck to answer if he does and how he does. Yeah, I can't draw out anybody's side. Yeah? Oh my God, sitting here watching says, "Old Chuck, have a seat." Yeah? Booker T, yes, Cliff, I saw you were stunned. You had to glance at the paper again. Ronald Bennett, wicked people for power. Sharon Kong, them behaving like Trump. Wow. I tell you. Rick the Cynic, the man had his receipts. No one taking the opposition seriously, especially Bunting. Former U.S. ambassador told you all about Bunting. He has no credibility. Wow. Strong link. Yes? Bunting, the shadow of everything. Shane Mark agrees with San. Exactly. Both stunned. Eh? Shane Mark, cuss me. I was stunned though. What you want me to say? I wasn't. Wouldn't I like hear when people talk truth? I'm not too familiar with it. Anyway, let's go to the phones now. Cleveland, morning.
Good morning, Mr. Hughes.
Good morning.
Laugh off my face. Mr. Hughes, a long time, I'll tell you these things. You remember 2010? When they were discussing about to extend the state of emergency?
Oh, yes.
And Mr. Bunting did agree. And then it changed by the time the week out.
Yes.
They come up with that, no, we can't support it because we make Golden look too good.
Oh, yes. Sound like the Republicans them in the United States. Them say they want a border deal to fix the problems at the border. Them get what they want. And now then say, no, we can't do it because it will make Biden look too good.
Yeah. And from that day until this day, I've been telling you. And what Mr. Chuck said about the leader, I've been telling you that thing for a long time, Mr. Hughes. There's something not right. Yes, I tell you that it's not good to be a leader in this place, sir. And if you look at his vice president, Trust me, it tells you the type of people we would have as leaders in this country. The mayor of Spanish Town,
Yes.
Mr. Hales, the secretary, Miss Brown Burke, Mr. Hughes. Come on, sir. It would be the worst thing to happen to Jamaica.
Oh.
Mr. Golden don't understand politics at all, sir. Him not use him just go by soundbite. That's what he's living by.
And what he thinks is popular.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, I think people it's popular with people. With few people. Not the one them that really understand how our country is to run.
Well, February 26th is not too far away now.
Mr. Hughes would in a whole heap of trouble. So my government know that they were to put money aside for anything like what's happening now with the flooding in these places. The government don't have to go search to find money. Because it's in the budget already.
I forgot borrow money.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's sensible government to have and them think ahead of time and preparation for these type of things.
Yes.
Mr. Golden wants to forget to spend the money, so give the people them some of it. In the way he wanted to give the people some of it. It will not help Mr. Hughes. You see? But I've been saying it. I think it would be the worst thing. And look, the bright people them who's supposed to round him, they're not round him. The few bright people that have lived there. And take
Where them
people
gone?
who really do understand. Anybody come, them just put them in one place.
Well, let us see Cleveland. Let us see how the campaign going.
Well, we're not starting a big campaign, we still get around with people and get to self-organize. But after nomination, I think we're more on the road. You see? But notice how Mr. Holness him do him thing, sir. He just turn up at some place and where the people then come from, God no, but then just turn up.
Yes, I saw him in where? It's in Southside. I saw
them
him
just turn up.
last evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see?
Well, all right, Cleveland.
All right.
Good. All right, our next caller, Oliver. Good morning, Oliver.
Sir, morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
If anybody else is a political dunce, you are not a really dunce.
I'm glad I'm not.
That's what I said, you're not.
Yes, I'm glad I'm not. Yes.
I was talking to, I think it was Turner this morning, but I got disconnected. On the date when the election was announced, so last week, Thursday, the opposition was in St. Mary. And I think you should have the clip there when Dr. Dayton Campbell was speaking about the poor. And he touched on a point where he said that in the COVID, the Prime Minister locked the poor people in houses. I'm not so sure if you're aware of that clip, but I heard it.
I heard it, sir.
Right.
I heard it. I did.
I'm amazed, Sir Hughes. And if somebody wants to give a message and come with a proper and clean message, I don't think St. Mary's for it. We cannot tolerate those sort of messages. Because I don't think that should even be mentioned then. Because everybody knew what COVID was like. The essence, maybe then nobody understood it in the very early part of it, but then everybody knew that it was a pandemic. So is it that the other countries who locked or asked persons to stay in homes or lock, as he wants to say, it was all poor people?
You know, sir, when I heard the clip, I, had to lament. What is Dr. Campbell saying? And Dr. Campbell is a medical doctor.
And yes, so that's what that's what concerns
medical
me more.
doctor. Yes, and I am also wondering, what is it about their capacity to think and to craft a message? Yes, it's as if something, and I've been saying it for some time, that the PNP has become intellectually lazy. Yeah? They have become intellectually lazy. And ever so often, yes, they reveal that laziness, because I think that is what Dr. Campbell betrayed in those comments.
Boy, I just can't believe it.
Yes, but you know something? I'm kind of comforted by the fact that you picked it up, others have picked it up, and people, the ordinary people, we don't give them enough credit from time to time, They may not be able to express it the way you and I are able to express it. But they understand. They understand. And they will look at and say, but what him just say? What him just say? Yeah? So what the government should do? What the Prime Minister should I do?
Exactly.
Like run up and down where I'll get COVID and where I'll drop down dead? Yeah?
With millions
Don't
dying.
underestimate the people. Yes. Yes, don't underestimate that the Jamaican people don't read through what Dr. Campbell said and say, idiot talk that. Idiot. You understand me?
I don't want him to come to St. Mary with this type of thing. Because if he believes, he may believe that 3/4 of St. Mary may be, in his essence, that they're done. As somebody, as the Justice Minister said that my goal is politically done. I don't know if he thinks that St. Mary is done in that way, that he really take this to St. Mary.
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you very much. We'll have to go to the break now. Time for the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
Furniture Land at 112 Constant Spring Road is Jamaica's premier furniture retailer when searching for stylish and elegant pieces for your home. The time by Furniture Land is
11:45.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661-2.
JN Money Card send from abroad. JN Money Card. Send the money. Okay. More withdraw in a hurry. JN Money Card free. With your TRN and your ID. And when me no walk with cash, me just swipe like that. From abroad to card. Get the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. JN Money Card. Stay safe and collect funds on the JN Money Card.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building time. Anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. Build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica. So vote for the JLP, yeah. Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. Them build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island. Them build parks in the communities with better facilities, with the children play on you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The two main political parties are hunting for votes ahead of the local government elections. The PMP says time come.
This will be a referendum on this government. This will be an earthquake for the Labour Party government.
While the JLP says it's building communities.
There has never been a government of Jamaica that has had so many achievements to go and face the people with.
But how do the voters see it? Well, the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools will tell us. Is there daylight between Golding's PMP and Honus's JLP? Who do the people trust more to manage their local affairs? The stakes are high. There's everything to play for. Who will get the nod? Your authority on politics nationwide 90 FM has the numbers. Join us starting at 6 a.m. on Nomination Day, Thursday, February 8 for all the results. That's the nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools on Nationwide 90 FM. Your revolution in media.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Cliff Hughes Online this Wednesday morning, Wednesday, February 6th. And we're continuing to come to you from the summit where we are having the Ministry of Justice focus on Restorative Justice Week. And one of the key public servants in this effort is the Director of Restorative Justice Branch, Miss Jonah Lee Robertson. Good morning again, Miss Robertson.
Good morning, Cliff. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I am doing well, thank you.
How is it going in terms of the conference?
So far, the conference has been going exceptionally well. The turnout is amazing. Persons are engaged. They are enthused. You know, we have a lot of discussions going on. We would have had our senior policy analysts just going through, you know, the foresight of the revised restorative justice policy. And so it has been amazing thus far. I'm really pleased to see the turnout and the participation.
Well, it's a week of activities you're having,
It
right?
is.
So tell us about those activities.
All right, so we are now midway through the week, so we would have started on Sunday with our church service, and that was at the New Beulah Moravian Church in Mandeville, Manchester, and we'd have also had the re-signing of our Memorandum of Understanding, which was on Monday, between the Ministry of Education and Youth, as well as the Ministry of Justice. We now have our conference today. Yesterday, our centers all across Jamaica were mobilized, increasing public awareness for restorative justice. You know, we had where a lot of our stakeholders or community supporters, they were all recognized and celebrated, or facilitators, and then also the members of the public. We also have where for today we're here for our conference, creating a space within which Jamaicans, regardless of their organization, regardless of their influence, they can come in and they can positively shape the direction of restorative justice, not just through our policy, but also in terms of how we approach Jamaicans, how we deliver justice to the people. We are going to be continuing our efforts, where tomorrow we are going to be having activities going across again for various centers. Then on Friday, we're going to be doing our restorative practice interventions for high school. And so we will head down to the western side of Jamaica for this initiative. And then on Saturday, we continue with our church services. So both Saturday and Sunday, the 10th and the 11th, we'll have parish-wide church services mobilized through the custodies in each parish, and then also the team on the ground. Similarly, on Saturday evening, Cliff, this is going to be a major event. We are celebrating our facilitators. Our facilitators are those volunteers who are committed to the program. We want to appreciate them. We want to know that we see and we also recognize and appreciate their efforts to the development and the sustainability of the restorative justice program.
If someone is listening, what do you look for in a facilitator, a volunteer?
All right, so we start off with somebody who has a reputable character, because the integrity of the program of the Ministry of the Government of Jamaica is extremely important. And so that's for starters. But we also want somebody who demonstrates the principles of restorative justice and practices.
And those are?
Somebody who is respectful, somebody who is caring, somebody who recognizes that by virtue of us being human beings, we have an inherent right to be treated with dignity. And so that's very important. We also want persons who are committed to nation building. We don't want it to be just another initiative, just another task. We want it to be something that they believe in, something that they will wholeheartedly support. And so those are the main criteria. The individual also has to be 18 years or older. We're not looking for certain qualifications. I don't want anybody to be discouraged and to think that you need to have, a bachelor's or a master's. No, we want Jamaicans from all walks of life. So that way, regardless of who our clients are, they can get justice.
All right. So how can someone become a restorative justice facilitator? What they will have to do?
All right, so once they meet those criteria, they would need to complete an application form. This application form can be accessed at any of our over 20 centers island-wide. They can also access it through the ministry's website, which is moj.gov.jm. They can print the application, complete it. There are a number of supporting documents that are required. Things that we are normally submitting with applications: proof of address, proof of identification. We want to be able to track these persons and to make sure that they are who they say they are, right? Because again, the integrity of the program is extremely important. They complete the application forms, make their submissions, we do our interviews, we do background checks. Persons are vetted and then they are trained to become restorative justice facilitators.
And based on the criteria, yes, no monetary reward is paid if you choose to become a facilitator.
Well, actually, there is a stipend that is used to supplement and to encourage the labor of our facilitators. So we do in fact offer a stipend not just for the case conferencing or for the interventions. Persons based on their availability will get to choose if they want to carry a full case load, meaning from the referral is made, so the pre-interviews to the case conference, the monitoring and follow-ups that are done post-conference. Or persons might say, I only have the availability for conferencing, and they can then be contracted in that regard. We also have where a stipend is paid for individuals who come and partner with us to deliver restorative practices trainings into our various educational institutions, in our churches, and in other agencies.
Yeah. You have 400 centers across the island.
We have 400 trained facilitators across the island.
Yes, trained facilitators. And Minister Chuck was telling me earlier,
yes,
your challenge is to get more Jamaicans, to make use of your centers and your facilitators. Yeah. How are you going to do that, ma'am?
This is a part of the initiative, increasing public awareness. Persons need to understand what restorative justice is. Persons need to be able to see, visualize the benefits of restorative justice. It is not a one-sided program. It's not just the victim or the person harmed or the offender, but everybody benefits. And even as Jamaicans, even if you're not directly involved in the case, you benefit too, because we're now at a stage, Cliff, where sometimes going home, opening your gate, opening your door, wanting to step outside to catch some fresh air, you are concerned, you're worried, you're not sure what might happen. And so every Jamaican gets to benefit from persons taking up the restorative justice program and delivering it in a way where other Jamaicans can buy into the vision.
Thank you very much. She is Jonah Lee Robertson, Director of the Restorative Justice Branch at the Ministry of Justice. Thank you so much, Jonah Lee.
Thank you, Cliff, for having me.
You're welcome. That's so we're going to leave it for the morning session. We'll be back at 12:30. Stay with us.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me. Like a rock, I was something to see. Like a rock, and I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Lord, me can go get ready for go vote here now. Me can't believe it's 7 years now since local government election no keep. I wonder if Maureen she ready. Maureen! Maureen, oi! Come now, man. Me want go catch you on a polling station before the line get long, you know.
We not tapping eyes. You come on me here before morning with the politics. Me not vote no local government election. It don't make no sense. And the council them can't 7 or 11.
No, Maureen, don't do it. Local government election important. Are them responsible for repair the road them, you know? Clean the drain them and the gully them, Maureen. Take care of market where you go every Saturday. Are them responsible for provide the poor relief, Maureen? So whether you're PMP or JLP or any other P, your vote important.
But so what you say? You know that me vote for the MP final 2020. Me can't bother with the bag of election, you know.
No, Maureen. MP got parliament go pass law for the country. And the councillor them got the municipal corporation go represent with specific community. Yeah.
Let me go for my voters' idea. This a local government that can't miss me.
Local government elections provide an opportunity for citizens to determine who will represent them at the municipal level. These elections are important. It's everybody's business. Get involved, make a plan, choose the best path forward for your community. Vote in the upcoming local government elections.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1
90.3
90.7
90.9
or visit our Flow channel on a 916. To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
12 o'clock.
It's credible and factual. The World at Noon on Nationwide 90 FM.
A very good afternoon to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the Nationwide World at Noon for this afternoon, Wednesday, February 7, 2024. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Jamaica's economy thrives only when the JLP is in charge of government. Almost 2,000 houses will be built in St. Thomas by the end of the next fiscal year in March 2025. The Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, says it's fully prepared for the nomination of candidates for the February 26 local government elections. Strong storm surges caused damage to sections of the Ocheres Pier and 2 cruise ships that were docked at the facility. In regional news, Grenadian Prime Minister wants to halt exports of raw nutmeg and chocolate. In international news, a former president of Chile dies in helicopter crash. And in sports, the public ticket ballot for the 2024 ICC Men's T20 World Cup is set to close today. The details after the break.
Mosquitoes can spread diseases such as dengue fever. Common symptoms of dengue include fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, muscle pain, joint pain, skin rash, nausea, and vomiting. If you feel you have dengue fever, visit your doctor or health center, rest, drink lots of fluids, use only paracetamol for pain. Do not take aspirin or other painkillers. Protect yourself from dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases. A message from the Ministry of Health.
The Midday News is brought to you by Total Tools. We almost always have it.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Jamaica's economy thrives only when the JLP is in charge of government. The Prime Minister made the assertion on Tuesday evening as he addressed Labourites at a campaign stop on Jakes Road in Mountain View, St. Andrew.
The only way that we are going to deal with any problem that you have, whether you vex about water, whether you vex about road, or you just vex about everything. Don't make nobody tell you foolishness about them will come tomorrow and solve your problem. The only way they can address anything in a Jamaica is by making that economy grow. And there's only one government that has ever done that in the history of Jamaica. Only one government. And that is the Jamaica Labour Party.
The Prime Minister toured sections of central Kingston and eastern St. Andrew on Tuesday. He told supporters that the solid performance of the economy under his watch has allowed the government to embark on a program of road construction and repairs across the island.
Run your economy well to make your economy grow, and as your economy grows, the tax revenues grow, and that gives us a larger budget, and that larger budget now we cut a larger slice in it for road repair, and that is how the parish council, your municipal authority, your mayor and your councillor, and the minister of local government can say that because we have this extra revenue, this road called Jakes Road, which has never been repaired in 40 years, but because the government that you have elected solved the mystery of how to get more allocations for road repair. So we hear now all kind of people are ball and talk about road as if it's just no road bad. The only thing new is that it's just now the economy get good so we can fix road.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Almost 2,000 houses will be built in St. Thomas by the end of the next fiscal year in March 2025. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement at the grand opening of the Suncoast Beach Club in the parish on Tuesday.
But the NHD has currently in the planning stage the Hectors River development. We have the Lethal Community Renewal, which is ongoing. We have the Roselle development, which is a guaranteed purchase program. And when you put all of that together, we will be producing a total of 1,682 housing solutions right here in the parish.
The Prime Minister says that these units are part of a bigger plan to deliver 70,000 housing solutions to Jamaicans over the next few years.
So we have already now directed the NHD to be a part of the development. You know, we have the goal of building 70,000 new housing solutions. It's a really very ambitious task, but you know me, I'm always putting my hat where I have to stretch to reach it. And we are doing some stretching to reach those 70,000 units. The pandemic really gave us a big hit and delayed us, but we are still on track. We're looking to have these houses starting to be delivered 2025, 2026.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The Electoral Office of Jamaica EOJ says it's fully prepared for the nomination of candidates for the February 26 local government elections. The EOJ says nominations will take place between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at designated nomination centers across all 63 constituencies on Thursday. Director of Elections Glasspool Brown says he's anticipating a well-coordinated, incident-free day. He's also reminding potential candidates that they must complete a nomination form, which will be provided on the EOJ's website or at the nearest constituency office. The EOJ says the nomination form must be signed by any 6 or more electors qualified to vote. The EOJ says the form must be returned to the returning officer between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the place specified in the election notice as designated venues on nomination day. Nominated candidates are required to pay a fee of $3,000 to the returning officer. Deposits must be made in banknotes. The EOJ says no debit or credit cards or checks will be accepted. Now, Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Sydney Stewart, says the strong storm surges on Tuesday caused damage to sections of the Ocherous Pier and 2 cruise ships that were docked at the facility. Mayor Stewart was speaking on Cliff Hughes Online earlier on Wednesday.
The spate of T12s affected the Reynolds Pier, and then the ship that was in Harbour was affected, got some damages. My understanding is that we had a number of 2,560 plus passengers on board at the time, 128 crew members. None of the passengers or crew members were hurt, but the cruise ship suffered some damages below from our main terminal, and therefore the ship was not able to. It was disabled for a while, it was not able to depart, and the passengers were accommodated at the Island Village shopping complex, where there are some measure of accommodation that could secure them for a period.
Several buildings, installations, and facilities along the north coast sustained damage due to the floodwaters prompted by the storm surges. Reports say sections of the resort towns of Negril in Westmoreland, Montego Bay in St. James, and Ocherous in St. Anne were battered by waves as high as 15 feet. The Met Service advised on Monday that a lingering cold front would bring periods of heavy showers across most parishes, along with strong winds and rough seas. Mr. Stewart says it's time for the authorities in the tourism sector to look at measures to protect the country's seashore.
I think we need to now take a severe look at Ocherous as a bay, Ocherous as a complex, and one of the fastest growing tourism destinations. It was beautifully done in those days. It's still maintaining its beauty, but a number of things now that climate change, will bring you to the point where you have to look at several other things. Because this emergence of sea waves and sea swells, I think, is as a result because we're dealing with water. Water is one of the primary thing in climate operations. So I think as a nation, we will have to now take out, and I know studies have been going on, but we have to move a little faster to see how we can protect some more the shore, not just the shore of Ocherous, the entire seashore across the length and breadth of Jamaica.
Sydney Stewart, Mayor of St. Anne's Bay. Meanwhile, President of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Elaine Allen Bradley, described the situation in the town as dire.
The road has been deteriorating over the years, and it's now worse. The wall that separates the sea from the road, the wall has gone. There's only a small part of that wall that's left. People are now driving on the sidewalk. They're literally driving on the sidewalk. I just came in from a director's Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I just had to try to navigate myself on the sidewalk. It's bad. It's bad. All along the West End, right into the town, corner bar in front of the BNS Bank, all that. There's water everywhere and debris. The first color partly of that seawall was about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's been slowly deteriorating since.
Elaine Allen Bradley, president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce. In Montego Bay, owner of the popular Pier 1 restaurant, Jason Russell, says the road leading to his establishment is broken away.
Not good. It's dire. Right now we're at the mercy of Mother Nature, I would say, and she's not in our best of moods tonight. Right now we're looking at about 20-foot seas crashing through the restaurant. The road to Pier 1 is completely gone. We have about a foot.
Hold on. When you say completely gone, what do you mean?
We're missing a section of the road completely. We have a foot of sand and stone, just total debris in the yard of Pier 1, and the restaurant is totally flooded. But no injuries.
And Jason Russell, owner of the popular Pier 1 restaurant in Montego Bay. They were speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. In the meantime, founder of the Bluefields Bay Fishermen's Friendly Society, Walt Christus, says patronage at businesses along the coastline has slowed due to the high tide.
When we have the storm surge, we're having sprays, and it's extremely difficult for you to sit into a restaurant or a bar and be comfortable with all of these spray which is coming from the waves crashing against the shore. And some of those businesses also currently has no beach, so persons who would normally come in order to watch the sunset or to enjoy the scenery, can't do so. So many businesses are being affected as we speak.
Mr. Christus says at least one house has been damaged.
Yesterday, a home which is close to the beach at West Indian Almond Tree fell onto the house. One of the rooms is totally destroyed by the tree, and it is in the Belmont area. So definitely we are seeing damages that are happening, damages to property happening along the coastline.
Wald Christus, founder of the Bluefields Bay Fishermen's Friendly Society. He was speaking Wednesday on Nationwide this morning. Gender Minister Olivia Grange is urging public and private sector organizations to take steps to implement sexual harassment policies by the end of June. She made the call during remarks in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
It is vital that every workplace and institution puts in place a policy statement within 12 months of the commencement date of the Act. The effect of this is that no workplace or institution, including ministries, departments, and agencies, has the luxury of choosing when to effect compliance with this part of the legislation. Madam Speaker, I encourage employers and heads of institutions that have not yet completed their policies to take steps to have them in place by the end of June to avoid penalties.
The Sexual Harassment Act came into effect on July 3, 2023. Minister Grange says organizations must have policies that include procedures available to make a sexual harassment complaint.
The Sexual Harassment Protection and Prevention Act protects all women and men from unwanted sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and crude sexual behaviors that affect quality of life by creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment. Mr. Speaker, the law provides relief for victims, punishment for perpetrators, and a deterrent to sexual harassment. So getting this legislation operational is a triumph for all the people of Jamaica today.
Olivia Grange, Minister of Gender. Scotiabank has announced the appointment of 3 new top executives. Among the appointments is Dane Buckner as Vice President of Strategic and Business Analytics for the Caribbean North and Central region. Scotiabank says Buckner brings over 16 years of expertise to his new position, strengthening its analytical capabilities in the region. Keisha Brown, who previously served as manager of Scotiabank's Mandeville branch, has been appointed as the new district vice president for Jamaica Retail District A. She will now oversee multiple branches, ensuring the delivery of outstanding customer service and driving operational excellence in line with Scotiabank's client standards. Christopher Samuels, a former manager of the bank's flagship Scotia Centre branch, has been promoted to District Vice President for Jamaica Retail District B. All 3 appointments took effect on February 1. Now, close to 6,000 Jamaicans have benefited from the reopened Jamaica-Cuba Eye Care program. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the revelation during a tour of the St. Joseph's Hospital facility in Kingston on Tuesday. The facility was recently refurbished and repaired to carry out both pre- and post-operative eye care under the program. Dr. Tufton says 5,847 Jamaicans have been assessed for treatment under the program since it reopened in September of last year. Of that number, just over 2,500 have been prepped for surgery, while just over 1,200 have been screened for their condition. Cuban ambassador to Jamaica, His Excellency Fermin Gabriel Quinounce, who was also on the visit, noted that it was important for these and other related healthcare initiatives to regain traction after the disruptions caused by COVID-19. The eye care department at St. Joseph's Hospital currently staffs 20 members. This includes 3 Jamaicans and 17 Cubans, inclusive of a lab technician, a biomedical engineer, and 8 nurses. In regional and international news now, regional news, the Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, has advocated for the cessation of nutmeg and chocolate exports from the island, famously called the Spice Isle. Mitchell shared his thoughts on what Grenada's nutmeg industry can achieve on Monday evening as he presented Vision 75, a roadmap for the country's development over the next 25 years. Agriculture is a key pillar in the roadmap, as Mitchell said it is important for Grenada to be able to feed itself. Prime Minister Mitchell says despite the country having the finest nutmeg, the export of raw nutmeg has not created any additional jobs in the country. Nutmeg has long been hailed as one of Grenada's primary exports, contributing significantly to the nation's economy and global reputation. However, the country's nutmeg industry has struggled over the last 2 decades after Hurricane Ivan destroyed over 90% of fruit-bearing trees. To international news now, the ex-president of Chile, Sebastián Piñera, who served 2 terms and was also a billionaire businessman, has died in a helicopter crash. He was 74. 3 other people aboard the aircraft survived when it came down in a lake near the southern town of Lagoranco. Piñera had flown his own helicopter, but there was no official confirmation that he had been the pilot during the crash. National mourning has been declared as tributes have been paid from across Latin America's political divide. And that's it for the local, regional, and international segments at 12. Up next, sports.
The Midday News was brought to you by Total Tools. We almost always have it.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
But is this real? Hey Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So how much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene. Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, up-to-the-minute local and international sports news. This is the Nationwide Sports at Noon.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to your midday sports report here on Nationwide 90 FM.
I'm Wayne Walker. The Jamaica Scorpions were struggling on 52-5 against the Windward Islands Volcanoes at sports time on day one of the new West Indies 4-day championships at Sabina Park. Abijay Mansingh 6 and Romain Morris 2 are the not-out batsmen. Ryan John and Shamar Springer have each taken 2 wickets apiece for the Volcanoes. Meanwhile, rain has delayed the start of the game between Barbados Pride and the combined campuses and colleges at Shedwin Park in St. Catherine. Over in St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they are 89-3 against the defending champions, the Guyana Harpy Eagles at Connery, while at Warner Park in Basse-Terre, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes reached 93-6, and they're playing against the West Indies Academy. The public ticket ballot for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024 is set to close today, with fans encouraged to apply now to ensure the best possible chance of securing seats to their preferred matches. The Men's T20 World Cup 2024 continues to make history in the lead up to the 9th edition of this globally anticipated ICC tournament, set for June 1 to 29 in the West Indies and the USA. Almost 4 million ticket applications have been submitted to date, and that number is expected to rise before the deadline closes. Media Operations Manager for the ICC T20 World Cup, Philip Spooner, says fans from around the world and in the USA and the Caribbean are encouraged to apply for tickets before the ballot ends.
It's about showcasing that there's a lot of interest, and tickets start at $6, and so there'll be a large amount of tickets that would be priced rather on the low spectrum. So we want to get everybody into the grounds. We want to fill the stadiums. We want to demonstrate that cricket is growing and that the world can participate in this event. And as proud West Indians, we all want to be part of it. We want to show the world that we are there and ready and able and capable of putting on this magnificent event.
The ballot is not a first-come, first-served system, and all applicants within the 7-day window will have an equal chance of obtaining tickets. Spooner says entering the ballot is the best opportunity for fans to get tickets to the games they want, at the venues they want, and for the ticket category they desire.
The allocation of seats will be made, and you will then get a follow-up email indicating that you've been successful in the ballot and you would have be able to secure a seat, and then you obviously will pay. After that, you pay for the seat. So it's a process, but it's part of a global norm in international sport. So it's something that obviously as Caribbean people we might not be used to, but it's something we try to get accustomed to for events of this nature. And I'm happy that people of the West Indies that they understand the processes and that they have participated meaningfully.
Applications have come from over 160 countries, and of the nearly 4 million applications received, a significant amount have come from the Americas. Spooner says within 7 to 10 days of the ballot closure, successful applicants will receive an email notifying them of what matches they have secured tickets to attend, and will be provided with a link through which payment will need to be made.
You could go in for 6 tickets in one application, and then, as I said, you'll be notified of your success, receive your tickets, and then obviously you'll make your purchases online. We wanted a situation where our spectators, our fans, the ones who really contribute so magnificently for the game. You know, without fans, there's no sport. Sport is for the fans. We want to support and encourage our fans to get involved, and we want to, wherever we can, facilitate them getting into those stadiums and rallying around the West Indies first and foremost, but then also support what will be a magnificent Caribbean event.
And that's Philip Spooner. New Zealand thrashed South Africa by 281 runs on the final day of the first cricket test at Mount Maunganui today. Kyle Jamieson, 4 for 58, and Mitchell Santner, 3 for 59, combined to help dismiss the South Africans for 247 after they were set a mammoth 528 to win. It was New Zealand's second biggest test win in terms of runs, and it would have been even wider had it not been for David Bellingham's counter-attacking 87 of 96 deliveries. Earlier, New Zealand expectedly declared their second innings overnight on 179 for 4, setting South Africa an improbable target. Captain Kane Williamson slammed 109 in that total against Neil Brand 2 for 52. It was Williamson's second century of the game, following up on his superb 118 in New Zealand's huge first innings total, 511. Ravindra clubber 214, that massive partnership with Williamson in the first innings. Leon Bailey's Aston Villa will host Chelsea in an FA Cup replay today at Villa Park. The two sides played out a goalless draw at Stamford Bridge in London last month, and they're battling for a spot in the 5th round against Leeds United. In the meantime, Nottingham Forest and Bristol City played out a goalless draw back in January and the original fixture, and they will be hoping to make amends when they lock horns at the City Ground also today. Nottingham Forest, they have picked up just one win from their last 6 league games, and it will be interesting to see if they can book their place in the next round. Meanwhile, Bristol City are going through a disappointing run of form as well. They failed to win 5 of their last 6 matches across all competitions. Rugby League Jamaica successfully concluded its 9th National Division 2 competition at the UAB Mona Bowl. The 8-team competition once more saw crosstown rivals Doheny Park Firestorm and Washington Boulevard Bulls battling for supremacy after previously getting past Ligony Dragons and Mona Pelicans in the semi-finals. The Firestorm emerged champions with a narrow 16-10 win with 1 minute to go and the score locked up at 10 apiece. It was a massive defensive stop by the Firestorm that earned them victory. Bulls was in possession and threatening to score. However, O'Shane A was bundled into touch. At the restart, Javian Bryan broke free for the Firestorm and sprinted 80 meters to score under the post to seal the win for the champions. Purdue's Jamaican freshman Nathaniel Thomas continues to show improvement with personal best records in the 50 and 100 meters freestyle. He put up career best times in a competition against Minnesota Northwestern at the Morgan J. Burke Aquatic Center. In the 50-yard freestyle, Thomas's previous best time of 20.44 seconds from November, he dropped that on Friday to 20.27 to 4th place. On Saturday, he would make a move into the Jamaican all-time top 10 in the 100 meters, and in previous best, he had stood 45.30 seconds. Finally, in sports at this time, Manchester High junior and senior basketball teams will be in action in the ISA National Basketball Competition today. The under-16 team will be in action first when they take on Campion College. Meanwhile, in another under-16 games in Georges College, SDGC will take on Knox College. In the under-19 action, Manchester will entertain St. Catherine, while Glenmuir will travel to Wolmer's. In yesterday's games, Belair under-16s beat Ardennes 54-34. Jamaica College topped Herbert Morrison 58-32, and St. James clipped Kingston College 43-41. And that will do it for your midday sports report here on Nationwide 90 FM. Sports is going to be back on this station at 5:25 this afternoon. Until then, I'm Wayne Walker. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
The two main political parties are hunting for votes ahead of the local government elections. The PMP says time come.
This will be a referendum on this government. This will be an earthquake for the Labour Party government.
While the JLP says it's building communities.
There has never been a government of Jamaica that has had so many achievements to go and face the people with.
But how do the voters see it? Well, the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools will tell us. Is there daylight between Golding's PMP and Holness's JLP? Who do the people trust more to manage their local affairs? The stakes are high. There's everything to play for. Who will get the nod? Your authority on politics Nationwide 90 FM has the numbers. Join us starting at 6 a.m. on Nomination Day, Thursday, February 8 for all the results. That's the Nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools on Nationwide 90 FM. Your revolution in media.
To recap our top stories making the nationwide world at noon, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Jamaica's economy thrives only when the JLP is in charge of government. Almost 2,000 houses will be built in St. Thomas by the end of the next fiscal year in March 2025. The Electoral Office of Jamaica EOJ says it's fully prepared for the nomination of candidates for the February 26 local government elections. I'm Tona Thomas. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on Google Play and the App Store. Major news next at 5.
Love, care for, and protect our women and girls.
We are your family. We are your friends. Don't hurt us.
End violence against women and girls.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
12:31.
asking for justice? Well, get justice. The Ministry of Justice presents Get Justice, a program focused on giving Jamaicans information on how to resolve their conflicts and access justice services. The series will highlight the justice services of the ministry to include social justice, estate planning, legal aid, and expungement. Join the discussion by calling 876-630-93714 or participate via their social media pages at MOJ Official JM on X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Get Justice with the Ministry of Justice every Thursday at 11 a.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Ministry of Justice, come access quality service.
MOJ taking justice to the people of Jamaica.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
Cliff Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Made them upload it. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome back to Cliff Hughes Online. And we're coming to you from the summit, yes, for the Ministry of Justice's Restorative Justice Conference. And it's all part of the effort, the process, several initiatives to really deal with the preponderance of crime and violence in the country. And one stakeholder is the Ministry of Education, and in particular, schools have seen, a serious problem with conflict resolution. And as you heard earlier, they are trying to partner with the Ministry of Education to reduce the incidence of violence, yes, in our schools. The Ministry of Education has a Director of Safety and Security in Schools, Richard Troop, right? He's one of the key people in this effort. Good afternoon, Mr. Troop.
Good afternoon, Cliff, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Restorative justice. First of all, is it being applied in schools?
Absolutely.
And how so?
I'd like to report to our listeners, Cliff, that in 2022, the Ministry of Education and Youth and the Ministry of Justice signed a memorandum of understanding largely to facilitate restorative practices training to be delivered in our school system. For all the schools that we would have targeted, each school, we would target student leaders, teachers, and parents. The MOU has facilitated the partnership to be making a significant impact in our schools. Cliff, I want your listeners to understand that a big part of our violence is related to the fact that as a country we have a problem to manage conflict peacefully. Our children, they have a problem to manage conflict. What the restorative practices training is doing in our schools is equipping our students, our teachers, and our parents, critical stakeholders in the school system, to identify alternative strategies to manage conflicts. We say to our educators, suspensions and expulsions cannot be the only tool that is utilized. Suspensions and expulsions don't resolve the issues that the presenting issues that students would have had. And so restorative justice, restorative practices, the ministry sees as an important tool to be supporting the stakeholders in our education system to make that impact. We signed another MOU on Monday, Sir Hughes. And in that MOU, we are not only committed to redouble our efforts to ensure that our schools are benefiting from the restorative practices training. And I want to say, when the training is done at the school, it's a 2-day school-based training. Our principals are appreciative of the program because their effort, a big part of their contribution to the training, is to provide a refreshment for the students and the facilitators. And they gladly do that as their contribution to the program. The new MOU that we have signed on Monday is a commitment to provide additional support services to our schools. Beyond the restorative practices training, the MOU and the partnership between the Ministry of Education and Youth and the Ministry of Justice is to ensure that our restorative justice facilitators and center managers will be able to provide an intervention program for children who are in conflict. So for example, Cliff, you see in social media so many instances of students engaged in fight. Boys and girls. And we see the general public looking on, sometimes cheering them on. Our commitment in the new MOU is to ensure that we are creating an opportunity where schools could refer these children to the Restorative Justice Center in close proximity to school, to have that kind of interface with students, to work through their issue. This could be done as a part of the suspension, but we're also encouraging this kind of opportunity that is available to school to say, if our school leaders, of our deans of discipline, our guidance counselors are observing situations that are brewing in the school, instead of waiting for the fight, instead of responding to the fight by issuing a suspension or expulsion, we say, how do we create an opportunity where we are linking these students to the support services to help them navigate this process of managing the conflict?
So going back to the training of the schools.
Yes,
who are involved in the training?
All right, so the principle is 2 facilitators from the Ministry of Justice. We are so grateful for this awesome group of persons. They would visit the school on the scheduled days of the training session. The Ministry of Education, Safety and Security in Schools unit in particular, and my team, we would work with the schools to identify the training dates, to identify the students. Who are the persons? Our students, especially student leaders, Cliff, our students, our educators, and our parents, together in the session, processing issues, working through issues, and it has been a tremendous impact. We are anticipating that our students are not only equipped with a tool for them to make better choices, but we're saying to students and our student leaders, they too have a responsibility to be agents of change. That when they are seeing situations of conflicts, how do we diffuse, how do we de-escalate? We're also saying to our educators, sometimes, I know sometimes students will provoke adults to wrath, but we say there is a way too that as adults, even though we have this power as teachers and educators, staff members, how do we too are conscious of our own actions so that our own actions are not triggering the situation to be escalated.
As the Director of Safety and Security in Schools, Mr.
Yes.
Troop, you have been in this job for a little while now.
For a little while, Cliff.
Yes. Tell me, is it that our schoolers today are more prone to engage in violent disputes and conflicts? Or is it the fact that all of them now have a smartphone, so therefore the fights are amplified a lot, as against when I was going to school? Yeah, when we broke a fight or a fight broke, yes, we never have no phone to capture it and to send it across the world.
That is right.
Tell me, is it
so
that
Cliff, you have hit the nail on the head. I think it's both really.
Oh.
I think, truth be told, we have become a very violent society. Yes, we see it in our music, some of our music. We see it in our families, we see it in communities. And it's not something that we have been coexisting with this culture of violence for a long time. Mind you, we have seen evidence of, if we are serious about change, that change can be realized. If I grew up in a community, when we hear things like nomination day and election day, we worry because of the political related violence of the time.
Yes.
But we have seen after several decades and a maturing democracy, Cliff, we no longer are fearful in the ways that we were years ago. It is suggesting to us, to our nation, that first of all, we have to understand and appreciate what we have now and what we would have done to get where we are today. Of course, violence in our school is a major issue. Yeah, again, because of the subculture of violence, but truth be told, because of cell phone too. And we say to adults oftentimes when are so critical of our boys and girls, when we were in schools, we had conflicts. Now, truth be told, we did not have cell phone. We didn't have landline back them days, Cliff. But the cell phone has magnified the issue. What we're saying to our educators and students in particular, because of the use of cell phone, because of technology, we have to educate, sensitize, engage our children in particular to understand how to effectively use cell phone. Cell phone is a powerful tool that has significant benefits, but if used incorrectly, can be a major problem.
Yeah.
I say to our educators, while our students are in school, how do we help them to understand the power of the cell phone? How do we incentivize those particular activities by using cell phone that can be saying positive things about their schools and themselves as students?
Sure.
So it's a bit of both, Sir Hughes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Richard Troop, Director of Safety and Security
You're most welcome,
in the
sir.
Ministry of Education.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. Time for the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose.
The Time is brought to you by the EU-UN Spotlight Initiative, ending violence against Jamaica's women and girls.
The time is
12:45.
The Bureau of Standards Jamaica Quality Institute is the national training agency for quality and standards that provides industry training to transform your organization. Access critical information and training solutions to propel you to business success. Your employee is your organization's greatest asset. Strengthen employee competence, increase operational efficiency, and build capacity for sustainable growth and development. Experience industry training like no other. Training programs include food safety management, quality management systems, cybersecurity, and many more. We customize our training to meet your needs. For more information, visit our website at www.bsj.org.jm. The Quality Institute, Bureau of Standards Jamaica, committed to quality and standards.
On Monday, February 26, 2024, the country will go to the polls to vote in the local government elections. The battle between the two main political parties, plus ambitious smaller parties, and a clutch of independents will be pitched in 228 divisions across the island. Andrew Holness and the JLP say they've done enough to be given a new term in charge of local governments. But Mark Golding and the PNP say time come to send the Labourites packing. What will influence your decision? Who'll get your vote? Nobody in Jamaica covers politics better than Nationwide 90 FM, and your revolution in media will be at it again for the local polls. It's the Labourites versus the Comrades, February 26, with Sadie Abering.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm.
Listen,
what I felt was right.
The local government election campaign is well and truly underway. I just got a video, just under 2 minutes, that I had to share with you. Yeah? Because on the face of it, it seems pretty normal, but what it may suggest is that there are a lot of things happening. It's a video of the Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Anne, Lisa Hanna, campaigning in, no, not St. Catherine, in Portmore yesterday, in Bridgeport in Portmore, for the PNP local candidate, Kenado. Yes? And you need to see this piece of video. Yes? Of Lisa Hanna. Yes? Campaigning in Portmore yesterday for Kenado. You need to go online now, because we're going to play this piece of video for you. Yeah? Because there's been a lot of speculation about Miss Hannah's political future. What is she really going to do? Is she really leaving representational politics? Is she really done with it? Yeah? And if there's a certain outcome on February 26th, what will Lisa do? Yeah? Look at this.
Therefore,
piece of video. Yeah? The video, Damien. It's not ready. Damien, I were told you had it ready.
I'm here in Bridgeport Division. And of course, I'm here campaigning with Lisa Hanna. A victory, building a better Bridgeport Division. Let's go. Big things. PNP, we do big things. PNP, we do big things. Consul of the Norgan do big things. Leon Thomas on the road. Vote for him. PNP. Councillor Kennard grant him not do nothing basic. Building a better Bridgeport Division is really great. Him support the youths them. Get
they're supporting Kennard full on
with education them is strive and him support round Robin fish fry and community development in my pan. Beautification, community science and football, netball competition. Yeah, Westport him the big things. Bridgeport him the big things. Coffee meet him the big things. West meet him the big things. Hey, PNP we the big things. PNP we the big things. PNP we the big things. Councillor Kennard him the big things. Hey, humble servant of the place, bringing us on a new wave. Trust in the work and keep the faith. All Bridgeport citizens will be great. We got a lot of things in place, trying to keep these streets safe. Working hard to make ends meet. Infrastructure, jogging trails. Cover meet him the big things. West meet him the big things. Bridgeport him the big things. Westport him the big things. Hey, PNP we the big things. Leon Thomas the big things. Kennard grant him the big things. Building a better Bridgeport and the big things.
that's it. Miss Hannah is lending her support, yes, bigging up Canado in the Bridgeport division, giving him a boost. Of course, you know that Portmore and St. Catherine are going to be keenly contested. And Lisa Hannah found time yesterday to be in there walking with Canado. Hold on to that piece of video here. It may suggest several things. Several things. Yeah? That's where we're going to leave it today. I want to say thanks to our producer, Noragay Banton. Of course, our broadcast engineer, Mr. Jermaine Compass. He was assisted by Sheldon Richards. Our videographer, Jamal Tucker. And, of course, our technical operator in studio, Mr. Damien Cunningham. Thank you all, and to members of the news and production team. Yes? We're going to make way now for Oasis with Loy Gale, and then it will be the entertainment block. Have yourselves a great afternoon.
You've just heard Cliff Hughes Online on Nationwide 90 FM. Join Cliff Monday to Thursdays between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. for Cliff Hughes Online.
Like a rock. My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Welcome to Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink as we share the Pauline letters, as relevant to us now as they were to those to whom they were addressed in the Apostle Paul's day.
Hi, I'm Loy Gale. Thanks for joining me. When we last met, the Apostle Paul, in a reference to life, made a request. Keep it simple. He explains, I do want to point out, friends, that time is of the essence. There is no time to waste, so don't complicate your lives unnecessarily. Keep it simple. In marriage, grief, joy, whatever. Even in ordinary things, your daily routines of shopping and so on. Deal as sparingly as possible with the things the world throws